Oops. Well, I clicked that a bit quick. Welcome to episode 5 of Beldania, where everybody has moved down the screen, and I don't know why. So today I have playing with me Bruno.
Hello, adventurers. I'm Bruno, and I'm playing Natasha Ayolet, a happy-go-getter human cleric.
I have Jamal.
Hey guys, Jamal here playing Kiavo, Order of the Scribes Wizard.
And Leonin.
And Leonin, yes.
Josh.
I'm Josh. I will be playing Sebastian Belmont, who is a abjuration wizard turned cat.
I have Rico.
Hey, I'm Rico, and I'll be playing Horan Goldenbrand, the Dragonborn Paladin.
And I have Jodai.
Yes, that's me, and I'm playing Hennick Littlefield, a halfling farmer and bard.
And it is with Jodai that we will begin, as he has prepared something for us. Jodai plays a bard that has told us the story of the previous episode on a regular occasion, and we will begin with that.
Well, I don't know if it's so much the story of the previous, on this occasion.
Tells a story.
And we watch, not quite understanding them. How can we see all this loss and keep going when we only want to weep? The truth is that we have to leave. It's on the road we'll have to grieve. That's just the way of things. To stomach doing what we must is the guide the humble learn to trust. A fool to fantasy clings. And raking through the ash we find both folk and soil left behind. The roots of town remain. In time we'll fix what's been defiled, but now it's time to leave a while. Make villains share our pain. What we supposed was the town, we saw it burn. But the land will endure until we return. As we leave, we start understanding them. Those tall flames in Sandringham.
Oh my god, Jodai! I'm
There
And as he so said, so it is true. We begin with stories of the tall flames in Sandringham. As you all returned to the village, to find that, sadly, much of it had burnt down. So, we come to Hennick Littlefield.
Ah, shit.
The remains of his home. Yes, Hennick. So you take a moment to rake through home and field. Tell us what goes through Hennick's mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's tall for a halfling at like 3'1", but I still imagine him sort of just in front of some of these buildings that may still be on fire and just dwarfed by the enormity of the situation. Getting back to his farm, of course. House gone, not even probably enough to dwarf him like that. But he cares entirely about the crops and the fields and the land, and spends every waking moment until these adventures just perfecting the rows of crops, and now it's just a wasteland, and just starts sifting through, trying to see if there's anything, just almost out of habit of just sort of going like, I have to clean up this, this stuff has fallen over and it's burned up in the wrong spot, and these ashes are only going to be good for certain crops, and I've got to move things around, and just start sort of raking through, and maybe looking for seeds or something, but just not. I don't know, I guess it's just sort of more out of habit than anything.
As you sift through fiery remains, although you find nothing of practical use, no Crops remain, no. Nothing, no seeds, nothing at all. First of all, you see that at the small table where you would sort of sit outside, or you would whittle, there seems to be some sort of odd scraping into the wood, as if somebody has ridden something there.
Certainly take a look at that.
What you read is not something you necessarily understand. It's not in a language that you speak, and the language you speak is a different alphabet. This is, runic markings, but it still speaks to you. What it says is simply destruction, wanton destruction. Unnecessary destruction. It's clearly written by the people that set the flames. And those of you who are moving around the town will see these markings made over and over and over again. These are the markings of Three Tusk clan. An Orcish tribe over the border. Eventually somebody will tell you this, likely Evran or Ogren. But for now, Fennec, what matters is that somebody's taken the time to whittle this into the one piece of furniture they didn't destroy.
It's yeah, just terrible. But I think it is enough to sort of remind me that I didn't really care that much about the house, and go back to just sort of at some point realizing like the dirt is still down there. And it's not going to be useful now, but what I cared about this place is still underneath there somewhere.
And as you brush away the ash at the point of where you had a beautiful circle of crops, one singular green shoot stands under the ash, choked but alive. Next to that singular green shoot, you find a sharp, angular black rock, marked by flame, perhaps by some sort of unnatural phenomenon as well.
Yeah, take that.
As you grip it, you feel a slight tremor, almost like it vibrated or perhaps moved slightly with the sorrow and anger that Hennick is feeling. But I'm sure he'll think on that more later. We move over to Sebastian. Sebastian, I recall you rolled fairly low, but not completely low. Is that right?
I rolled enough that my house wasn't really damaged, but it was a little bit.
Oh, yes, your home was damaged, but things were stolen, not burnt down to the ground, right? Yeah, what would distress Sebastian most, I think, despite the fact that I don't think, maybe he's not particularly distressed overall, but what would distress him most is that there is just unnecessary destruction, and things have been sort of raked out and left strewn all over the floor. Pieces of your mother's clothing, pieces of, there are smashed plates and all sorts of other unnecessary destruction. We came to the moment that you found your mother's anniversary gift tea set, but as you managed to wind your way upstairs, you see one of the books that Furlock has lent you is laying open upon the floor. You pick it up and you see that somebody has literally put their hand and just ripped pages out, which is just completely unnecessary. But you do see a page that remains there. Perhaps it will warrant study at a later time. But for now, it's just, one of the few things you can salvage from this dreadful mess where mud is streaked through the room as much as dirt and destruction. It's a pretty sight. Torin, Your house was left with a couple of walls, that's correct, right?
That's done it.
Yeah. After finding your grandfather's sword, I'm not sure that much else would be of importance to salvage. But you do notice that as you look around, you hear a sort of crackle of thunder. As you turn around, you notice that your home is with 2 walls is much better off than some of the others. As this sort of blackness and the smoke comes through, the rain begins to come down as a natural solution to the flames that still burn. Smoke. After Torin has found the sword and, looked around and found nothing else, a few of the townsfolk now that Natasha has led out, sort of gathering at the center of town. You would hear the odd couple of voices, gasps, cries. One woman sobs. She holds the remains of one dress, all she was able to salvage from the wreckage of her home. There's something temporary, something that reminds you all that you're mortal. Things do come to an end. Garvo, you were lucky. Your house seems to have been bypassed on the way into town. But that doesn't stop you from walking through the town and seeing that certain elements have been ruined. You see kegs from the inn, Natasha's parents, spread throughout the town like they've been, people have been stealing them, spiking them, and drinking them as they create this havoc and destruction. The smell of just burnt buildings and smoldering crops just comes to all of your noses like decay. Natasha, you stand with a couple of survivors that were talking about heading to Morscombe. But one woman steps forward and... What do we do next? Where do we go from here?
I think Natasha's just gonna hold her hands. What is the knowledge that she has of the area? Where did she want to go?
Sorry, where did who want to go?
The lady that's speaking to her.
She doesn't... She knows that her home is here. She is Patricia Ollerton. She is the woman who runs the vineyards. She has a vineyard. You drank her wine in the Silver Knight Tavern, and her vineyards are burnt to the ground. And she's sort of gesturing towards them, and she's saying, where do we go from here? What do we do from this point? Our whole livelihood, everything we'd hoped for is nothing.
I'll grab her hands, and I'll look her in the eyes, and I'll say, we live, Patricia. In whatever way we can, we live. And I think as she looks around at the town she grew up in, there's several memories of her running down the street with her little friends, her carrying stuff into the inn. And you do, her eyes do begin to tear up a little bit with seeing everything she holds close to her heart just gone. And I think she'll just start packing carts at that point, start getting people ready to move.
Yeah, most of the villagers are hardy folk, capable of pushing, not sitting in. But you do have a few that are holding babes, children, and there's a couple of elderly there. I think Kiava would be the first to arrive at the inn, given that his home was fairly intact. A little later, sort of as we're nearing early evening, Torin and Sebastian, 2 of you, join up with Natasha and Kiava. Begin to stop trying to put pieces of ground back together and start trying to put people back together. Because that's what remains of the village. People. Hennick, I think, would turn up last. His set everything as neatly into rights as he can. In this gutted. I think I'm not sure if Hennig is prone to displays of anger.
I'm not sure anger exactly, but I don't know, definitely the sort of realization of the necessity of leaving comes with a little bit of an edge. It's not just, okay, I get this now. This is what we have to do. Everything's wonderful. So much as, well, we have to go. We have no choice, but I have no choice but to come back. And that's going to require some sort of action against somebody.
And as Hennig joins you all, it is quite late at night. Kiavo, please give me a perception check.
$18.
You notice two shadowed figures, tall, almost as tall as you, in sort of moving in the shadows of the flames, the edge of the the edge of the village. These shapes are not human.
Okay.
You can work out pretty quickly that they're orcs. You see two of them. They seem to have got lost in playing in the destruction. What was once Jasper and Dorcray Brennan's home. Brennan's house. Now, it's just, you notice these two orcs still looting. Or stealing from them. You are with everybody else. Alva, what do you do? What do you say?
I want to fucking blossom.
As you raise your hand, I'm assuming to firebolt, perhaps. Something more comes forth. Something, for once, unlearned. Nothing was studied about this. This was emotional. It came from the gut. I think, I mean, I'll clarify what that was in a moment, but Hennig, Sebastian, you see this. Torin, you see this. Two orcs, and as you look over, you see that they're currently still smashing things in the home. What does Torin do?
Torin is going to silently rise, place his hand on his grandfather's sword, and just slowly start walking towards them, drawing the blade.
Sebastian, as you see this, what's your reaction?
I'm just gonna stay in the car and watch what happens.
Okay. Hennig, you see these two orcs as Torin moves towards them, and Kiavo unleashes some sort of flame towards them. Flames on a burning village. Bit of an interesting choice, Kiavo. But I think you notice that outside the home that they are smashing, the Brennans once kept a very elegant and attractive garden, herbs and pretty flowers. It was never grown for usefulness, it was grown for pleasure. Somewhere they spent a lot of time, and you see that this is being trampled and burnt down. How does Hennig react?
Yeah, I think everything that he has in terms of words is being used to process in his own mind, and he just looked for a rock.
You feel you can almost call one up from the ground. You see it just there, lying there. It's ready. It's moving towards your hand. Hennick, as you let this rock throw, I'd like to think that Hennick perhaps lets out a guttural sound. Frustration. And this is like
Absolutely.
a sort of ringing noise that splits the air. For those of you nearby, it's still quite painful, quite intense. But those that are within the home, you notice both orcs turn immediately, looking like they're sort of being knocked back by this wall of sound as Kiavo's line of flame comes flashing through them. Natasha, Sebastian, you see Torin reach the front lines, but what you notice is that 3 orcs stand out in the forest, bows drawn, as arrows unleashed, not towards you, but towards the villagers. Sebastian, you act without thinking, and as you motion for your ward to block the arrows, it expands into a lengthy wall. The arrows blocking into it as Natasha raises her shield and takes the last one in the shield. Kiavo and Hennick will turn, having left the 2 orcs dead for rights. And as your group advances, there's a sort of grim determination, but it doesn't compare to the reactions of one older villager. There's Helena Cinderlay, mother to Dahlia, older woman, sort of charges with nothing in her hands but a small mallet, a small metal mallet that's been used to put tent pegs in the past and fix things in her farm. And you see her caving in the skull of a orc 2 foot her senior, as the anger, the frustration, the sadness, the bitterness of the villagers comes to play. These 3 orcs who have left after they remain dead on the ground. She casually walks back, spattered in the blood of the orc, mallet in hand, looks to Natasha. Don't gawp, girl. Get the carts moving. She looks around everybody else and starts ordering them about like it was only her that was ever in charge. You can see she is struck by her own actions, but she's trying to play it down. All begin moving through the ashes towards Moscow. To relay a few bits of information, Sebastian, you can take Absorption Ward.
Absorption Shield, yeah.
Absorption
Kevin.
Shield. Kiavo, you can take Agonizer's Scorcher. Hennick, Shatter. And Torin, as you arrived, I did leave you out, I'm afraid. Your weapon will have glowed with a sort of internal magic. Some point, I don't know if it's now or if it's shortly in the future, you will be able to take Divine Favor.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure if that's something you can add this moment, or if it will need to replace Protection from Good and Evil. As you all go through the ashes, you realize how far you've come. And such little time, and how none of you shied from that battle, and you have to think. Through the night, the carts arrive at Morscombe at about 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning. But you see torches are lit and no one is sleeping. No one got to them an hour or so ago. First thing you notice is Corin's parents. They are, most specifically your father, is going around sort of making sure that people in need are okay. Corin, you obviously see your parents and are able to go to them.
Thorn is going to immediately run up to his mother and just embrace her.
He takes you in her arms. But Torin, I'm so glad you went back at the village. Ogren had us move. He promised us that you would be okay and that he would stay. He came with us in the end. That Kelvin would keep you safe.
I fear it was the other way around, Mother.
That's what Calvin said.
Yes, if we hadn't arrived. I don't think that Kelvin may be standing here before you today.
Been foolish, son. Could have let you go with the Silver Knight. Truth is, your grandfather, he was never done well by those people. Always sent on pointless, stupid missions to do things that didn't really make a difference. Always said the Silver Sword were more about money and diplomacy than they were about good deeds and the right actions. I will not deter you from your desire to fight, learn to fight. I would suggest perhaps doing it for the right cause. Is that your grandfather's sword you have?
And I'll sort of lift it up and show her.
She angles it towards you so that you see in the moonlight this inscription. It says on it, Justice. It shimmers in the draconic language. It's Master. You notice that the sword itself is slightly silvered. Would have been told that this passed to allow it to be effective against those of more monstrous nature. As your father pats you on the shoulder, and I hear you did good work in rescuing. It's a son I can be proud of.
Thank you, Father. I've only ever wanted to do our name proud.
Time you, other than Sandringham, your mother and I would like to return. This is more peaceful.
More peaceful.
I think that, oh, no one. I think we'd like to return to Isra. Stupid political feuds, but not so much in terms of danger. Hopeless. We felt helpless.
I understand. I wish I could go with you, but
I think your destiny, more than that, in a home and a farmland, eastern Israel.
Karn will sort of stand a little taller and look to the horizon and turn back to his parents and say, "You're right. I must do this."
You will find word of us at both Moralgan and Alec. Leave word for you so you can find us. Hope that word of your deeds reaches us, or you do. Best of luck, my son.
Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Father. I won't disappoint you.
No, you won't. I have. At this moment, we take over to Sebastian. You arrive, Sebastian. You see that your mother and father are huddled down. Sort of, there's a little bit of a sort of awning over them, and a piece of cloth has been pulled over to keep them dry, but the rain comes down. I don't know what being a wet cat is like, but it's probably not very comfortable. You're probably quite cold at this moment. You are able to go up to them.
Yeah, I'd be running up to my mum and dad, like, with tears in my eyes.
Mum runs sort of out into the water, into the wet, and you see she immediately regrets her decision. She sort of puts her arms out at you, and she comes down to one knee in the mud and puts her arms around you. I think this may be the first time your mum has hugged you since you went cat. Sort of, she might have given you some sort of patting gestures, but she hasn't really been able to see past the transformation completely. She's not accepted you, but it still felt unusual or awkward, but at this point, it doesn't matter, you're her son. And as she embraces you, she say you're a hero. You helped Kelvin save off the last of the orcs. With that silly magic of yours.
Well, I'm not getting into this argument with you right now.
I'm so proud of you. I never understood it, but always loved it. Always kept at it. We, Father and I, if you want, we will help fund you joining the Mages Guild.
Don't get me wrong, Mom. I'm very happy that you're accepting of my magic now, but I've already joined the Mages Guild. Scrolls are expensive,
she means
though.
funding you as an apprentice. It'd be a full 100 gold and you'd be stuck there for 3 years. Like, in a study room, learning what they tell you to.
Yeah, no thanks, Mum. That's not what I want to do. But scrolls are expensive, so
You know, go your own way. Well, if you're gonna go your own way, you must take something of us. She presses a small coin pouch into your hand, and tells you that they couldn't spare much because they want to obviously get back and help rebuild in Sandringham. Your parents want to be quite a big part of the Sandringham. Make sure that what can be done is done. But she notices that you're carrying her old tea set. But go on, carry on.
Well, I'm assuming
go on.
They've said to me that they want to rebuild Sandringham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Said that.
So I'll just be like, well, you can't rebuild without this, and I'll take out the teapot and hand it to her.
No. She sort of holds for a moment and she reaches into a breast pocket where she pulls out a tiny, tiny book. You're going to be on the road. You're going to need this. She presses the book into your hand. You know, he isn't just a nice, pleasant way to start the day. Your great-great-grandmother passed down the family recipes. There's 2 in there. Hers and hers alone. It can protect you from the weather, from the cold. Keep you well, keep you fit. You take it. Every time you make a tea in that, what do you think of us? You travel the world. And bring it back to see me every now and again.
But Dad made this for you. For your anniversary.
He did. Had many years of use of it, but I think he'd agree, wouldn't you? She sort of looks to your father, and he sort of nods, and gift passed on is gift that keeps giving. Mother's right. Take it. Get the tradition going. We'll have more to do than make cups of tea in the next months. You're getting it whether you like it or not. Keep it. And we shall move to Natasha. Natasha, as you arrive here, you notice that everything's been done concentrically, right? So it's all being done in one circle. All the shelters, and at the very center of the shelter, you see your parents. There is a sort of a big pot of broth at the center that they are stirring and looking after, handing out warm mugs of ale. You see they're working in tandem with the innkeepers of Morscoon. your parents are sort of looking out for people, looking out for everybody, really. As you noticed that. How's she doing?
Think she'll go and help him cook?
As you step into the light of the flames, keeping the broth warm, your mother immediately sort of turns and sees you and comes running over and embraces you. So glad you're alive. Kelvin said you've been fighting. Was that something to you, girl? Oh. My daughter. What's this? And she sort of gestures towards shield you've made. One of my pants. Always were practical.
Well, you always told me I couldn't do it, so I went and did it.
I've realized that not just you, but you, and all of the people of Sandringham are capable of far more than I thought. You serious about this midwife thing?
I feel like, after what I've seen, maybe just midwifing isn't for me.
Well, this fighting, it's not just a one-off?
It's not fighting, Mother. I'm not going to let what happened to Sandringham happen ever again.
Protecting.
And if necessary, waging war. Indeed.
Whether you are midwifing, protecting, waging war, battling, though I do hope you find yourself as sturdy as shield. You go with our blessing and with our belief. You've always been capable, Natasha. Always. You've always helped out while going your own way. You go your own way, and we'll be with you every step of the way. I'm not going adventuring. Terrible things. You know how they get.
Now that's a turn, Mother.
My father hands you a sort of mug of watered down ale. It's warm. Look, you will remember the family brewing secrets, though, right? 'Cause you might be a brave adventurer, a warrior woman, but you will have children, and they will be innkeepers. He winks at you, or they won't. But take this with you anyway. And he sort of he takes a sort of piece of muddied parchment and begins sort of etching on it the brews that you already know.
Got him here, Dad.
Right, girl. Gonna be alright. Gonna be alright. Well, we must, obviously, get back to Sandringham and rebuild. I've heard Kevin tell us the inn is no longer standing. But I have had assurances from Mayor Garland that it is the first building that will be rebuilt. Bigger and greater than ever. We're gonna call it the Phoenix. Those strange mythological beastie things that come up from the ashes, you know, rebirth and all that.
Dad,
You're
I
looking at me
don't.
like that's terrible.
I don't think they're mythological.
Your DM says he thinks they are.
I mean, after what Natasha's seen, she's very much in her right to say she
Yeah,
doesn't
of course.
think they
But
are.
he sort of looks at you and, well, you know, I haven't seen it. I think Sandringham needs to rise out of all this mess. And at this point, your mother sort of looks past you and sort of begins to not dismiss like what's happened, but she's going back to focusing on like helping everybody. She notices that a couple of people are waiting. She sees Chiavo waiting to get a drink maybe or shelter, but instead she puts him to work pretty quickly on handing things out to those more in need, and you know, she's not fucking about.
That's Mama Ayelet for you.
And then she sort of notices Hennick over the fire, and she leans down and hands him a sort of warmed mug of ale. Hennick, you with my daughter?
No.
So says Kelvin.
Well, definitely a group effort.
Oh, that kind of with.
Oh yeah. When the fighting happened, when you saved Kelvin's ass, is what she's referring to.
She's she's a hero whether she necessarily wants to be or not.
You will keep her safe, right? And your father sort of looks at him, looks at your mother, and just like. And so to just go, what? What is his logic? And you can see she's still in your mind, in her mind, you're still like this tiny child that just needs protecting by anyone and everyone. You know, why she's asked Hennick and not Chiavo, your father, is just sort of like, what's wrong with you? But, you know, she perhaps doesn't mean... I think although Natasha thinks of it as a bit ridiculous, perhaps Hennick hears something different. Which is, you know, to keep her on the straight and narrow, to make sure she's happy, to emotionally look after her.
Yeah, I'll certainly do what I can. She's got a good head on fairly strong shoulders. I don't think she'll need too much guidance, but hell, by the time we see you again, she may be leading the rest of it.
Can I, as he says that, can I just... But like, in like actual like disbelief.
Yeah. Let's use that sort of... I had this noise. Your father comes over and you see him taking something from his thumb. And then he pulls a chain out from around his neck. I once made a pact. A friend, a close friend, when we were kids. We were going to be the greatest adventurers ever. It didn't go anywhere, but we had these rings that each one of us wore them. He went out to be an adventurer. He lost his life, border, fighting orcs. Soldiers, they brought back his belongings. His wife gave this one to me. They might not fit you very well, but the bond you have with your friends here, these people here, when you fight beside somebody, he used to say it was the greatest bond you could have, that trust in one another, the trust in your comrades to look after you and have your back. And he sort of puts the one ring over your neck and then puts the other one in your hand. You look after them, Natasha. You look after them. Pats you on the shoulder. Each of you are able to hunker down, get some rest in this bitter, cold night. It's warmed by fire and by the companionship of the villagers of Sandringham. They all sit round and tell tales of how they came to the village and what they remember best about the village. Yes, go on, Sebastian.
Sorry, the place that we are now. Where are we?
So, in Morscombe, I can bring up a map so that you can get an idea of where it is. That's not where it is.
No, that's definitely not where it is.
So if we condense this little map a little bit, can I click it? Can I got you got everybody? Sorry, I couldn't resist. So the little village of Sandringham was here. Okay, Morscombe, you would have travelled through the hills a little bit, and you'd be sort of just over here by the hills. I mean, obviously you kind of be this big. In terms of where you are within the village, as you arrive, you sort of, some of the elderly have been taken into other people's homes. But for the most part, you have people just surrounded by around the town square, in the central town square. A big sort of bonfire has been built where Natasha's parents were cooking, and sort of makeshift shelters have been brought out. People have brought out carts and other forms of like different structures that big tarps and big pieces of material have been put over so that you guys can all sit and sleep.
How big is the village?
Smaller than Sandringham.
I mean, in like
40 people?
feet.
Oh god, it's probably a mile or two. In
It's nothing to me.
well, 10,800 feet.
Okay, fine. So too big to cast Private Sanctum on it.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
but you would be able to do that around the town square.
What's the point of that? So the other villagers
Where all the
can't see
villages
us?
are. Well, yeah, okay, that makes it okay. No, it's too big for that.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
What is the range?
Up to 100 feet
Oh, okay, yeah, no, not
on
a
every
chance.
side.
Yeah, not a chance.
Can I maybe support and like try to combine a spell?
What on earth are you going to combine with Private Sanctum?
Sanctuary?
I think
That
that...
wouldn't increase the range.
No, it wouldn't. But what you might do is, instead of using Private Sanctum to make the group invisible to those outside, instead you sort of shield each individual to be less noticeable from outside, to be less sort of stared in at. Let me just get the exacts of the spell and let's see what you can... Because it prevents sound, it prevents...
Just for some clarity, the reason why I was doing it, or was trying to do it, was so that if there were any remaining orcs that were nearby, wouldn't see the village.
Yeah,
That's
so
why I was-
you're not going to be able to do that regardless of what you combine, but you are able to award each individual villager a little bit so that if an attack force came into the village, they wouldn't necessarily notice the people outside sitting around in these makeshift shelters first. It's the best I can give you. But
I'm good, thanks.
okay, but you are able to take rest.
Can I find the mayor?
Yeah, well, the mayor was going to find you in the morning. Right now, you do find the mayor, but he does seem absolutely exhausted. You know, he's been managing this stuff all day. He has Kelvin sitting in front of a small tent. Sorry, Kelvin's and his tent sitting outside what's the inn where the mayor would be staying. Kelvin sort of looks at you and he's got this sort of massive gash down his chest, but he doesn't seem to care. He's more worried about something else. Looks at
Does
you.
the
What's up, Hennick?
I just not having family of my own, I just wanted to make sure that the mayor knew for sure that we did safely take his daughter to the city. He might at best have a letter from her, and in all this chaos, I just didn't want him worrying.
You might speak with him in the morning.
All right,
Hennick, give me an insight check.
sure.
Kelvin's displaying an emotion quite clearly at this point.
That's a natural 20 for 26.
Yeah, it's grief. He looks devastated. But he also seems anxious, worried about something right now. He's not sad about what happened to Sandringham, he's worried about something that's currently going on. You notice that he is holding bandages in his left arm, and he hasn't even begun to bandage his own wounds.
What's going on there, Kelvin? You got more pressing concerns. It's obvious. Why aren't you taking care of yourself?
He sort of takes a step backwards, and you see Ogren, who is on the bed and has bandages everywhere. He kept going back. He kept fighting them along the road, deterring them, stopping them from following the villagers. They say he fought for 7 or 8 hours. He's gonna live, but I don't think he'll ever fight again.
Well, then someone else is going to have to.
I think the mayor may speak to you about that in the morning. Somebody needs to take word to the king. The lords. But right now, if it's okay with you, Henrik, I'd like to spend some time with him alone.
Of course.
His arms, Ogren's arms, are sort of fallen limp either side of the bed. But he looks up and... Thank you, Henrik, for bringing him back.
Just doing what had to be done. As you did.
Thanks.
No, go back, find a place to sleep.
You guys won't get a huge amount of rest, but early morning comes, 6, 7 a.m., and you hear the birds calling. Rain has passed. Some of you are in different places around, but you're all woken up by the same sort of various women and sort of older women moving around and sort of handing people breakfast and, you know, the yelling across the town. Eventually, Mayor Gollum comes seeking out probably Chiavo is who he's going to seek out. When he finds you, Chiavo, if I might trouble you.
Yes, what's up?
Heard
you
that
okay?
Before the fighting, you were with my daughter?
Yes.
She left a note. Oh yeah, that's illegal, I think.
No, not
However,
in that way, Jesus Christ.
yeah, he sort of nobody was with Moralda in that way. Okay, he sort of looks at you, and she was always going to leave home. I said it. I was always surprised when she settled down with whatever his fucking name is. I'm not going to go digging through my notes. Dorcray. Anyway. She'll be alright. I'll send him after her after a while. She does love the boy after all. I'll go live the city life. I appreciate it. She needed to feel like she was getting away. But
Needed something new, huh?
can't help but notice your group has group of friends has been somewhat valiant.
They sure have.
They're
They're a good bunch.
There were bandits on the road, and of course you rescued Kelvin. And I wonder if I might trouble you to do something else for me, but something paid. Something deservedly paid.
I'm all ears.
I wonder if you might journey to Lorvallen and give news to the king, and you would know what Lorvallen is. It's the capital of Jorson. And give word to the king and to the lord there that Sandringham will need to be rebuilt, and that the orcs come over the mountains.
An important job indeed. I'll do so.
I've written up a letter and scroll, but when you get there, the letter states that you are to be paid well.
Then, in that case, we'll gather our things and make way as soon as possible.
I'd send Kevin or Ogren, but between the two of them, they've got more injuries than can be counted, and they've given too much for this town already for a town that's not theirs. And
this is something we can do.
Kiara, I know this is going to sound strange. You haven't been in the village a huge amount of time, but well, sending your group, it feels like we're sending our own, you know?
Yeah.
Important to me.
I haven't been here long. It's true. I've only been here a short while, but...
Well, long enough. You know that wizard's never coming, don't you?
Yeah. I've got to make my own path, my own way now. But seeing this happen to Sandringham, it hurts. This was a place I called home. It wasn't a place I first started out, but it became a comfortable place.
Also, I understand that you have some connections with the Mages Guild.
Yeah, I do now.
if you might report to them that Varellus Balefire, a Mages Guild assigned member, went missing 2 weeks ago. He said he was going to visit Tarbondon, but I assumed he got lost in study there or something. Though, it has now been a long time, and without him, obviously, we have no way of communicating more swiftly. If Varellus was there, we would not see... Sorry, if Varellus was here, we would not need to send you there, but he would be able to send message ahead.
As he starts talking about that, what I will do is I'll snap my fingers and I will be casting illusory script and
If only you could do such in real life, right? And get it to take
Yeah.
notes.
yeah, I'll just have a quill just appear in the air and a scroll, and it will just start jotting down these notes. And
As he sees this, he sort of looks at you. You can't send message ahead with your mind like Varellus did, can you?
I wish I could. I really do.
Understood. So it's
That's
quite easy
beyond
for you to
my
explain
abilities
to
right
him
now.
that it will always be on your abilities because you don't know the person you'd be sending a message to. Varellus had, a setup sending interaction with them. Go on, Sebastian. I can see you.
Are you talking about sending a message to the Mage Guild?
Yeah.
I can do that.
How?
Because I have that thing that lets me talk to the girl at the Mages Guild. What's her name? Do you remember?
You
the
have a
first
ring
time I
for
met her?
wrong Mages Guild. Yes, you can
Oh,
send a
well,
message to.
la-di-da.
Well, I mean, technically you could get it through that way, but it's not the same as official messages to the king. That he would need to send messages to the mages at Lorvalan to communicate with the king.
Oh right, so we need to go. This message about Varellus Balefire, is that to Lorvalan or is that to
To
Hobon?
Lorvalan, to the Mages Guild at Lorvalan. Whereas Sebastian has a ring that allows him to communicate with her at Harbondon. Has Serena. Serena, yeah.
Serena.
Serena at the Mages Guild in Harbondon. But
Yes.
besides, she'd probably ignore you. She's busy studying. Always is.
Don't ignore me. I'm a prized.
You're a house cat. That's what's
she said
interesting.
I'm a prized ally.
Asset, I think she said, but yes. Regardless, as you are able to gather up the group and inform them of that news, I will take a short break and then just a minute. I just need to set something up and then we shall continue. 2, 1. Where's the button? There's the button. So, as we all awake and contemplate, the journey ahead of us and the road, and, Kiavo tells you all that you've been given this mission, but Mayor Garland, first of all, obviously, congratulations, welcome to level 3. Torin, in the moment that you swore to bring glory back to your family name, to your mother, that was you gaining Oath of Glory. So there will be nothing more needed to achieve that. If anybody else has any weird class features, please let me know. But other than that, you should all now have a subclass.
Sorry, before we took the long rest, could I have casted Mage Armor?
Yeah, and I'm assuming you're going to cast it again when you wake up? You find that it's not there? No? Maybe? I don't know. You're going to be set... Well, when you set out on the road, I guess.
Well, yeah, but it only lasts 3 hours, so...
It lasted 2 hours the first time. It lasted 3 hours the second time. Find out how long it lasts when you cast it a third time. Roll me a d6.
This would be my third time before I slept.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. Let's find out how long it lasted the third time. Roll me a d6.
A 5.
5. Nice. Not bad, is it? Just remind me that I don't have any dice. Those full-on roleplay sessions. Yeah, so as you all gather round, breakfast is served. It will be campfire fare, helped out by the end, a little bit of bacon, eggs, etc. And just before you go leave the town, Mayor Gullen is standing on a podium in the town square. We're able to pick up some of the words as he's talking about sacrifice, talking about giving everything for those you love and for those that need it. The willingness to put your body on the line, but also put your faith in the village and those smaller people. He's talking about Ogren and the sacrifice he made, but he moves on to talking about Kelvin and how he kept warning them that there was something wrong, something didn't make sense. And he speaks of his determination to rebuild the village. He speaks of the brave group that helped rescue Kelvin from the mountains and bring him back to Ogren. And he speaks of the two of them as a sort of symbol of hope for all of the village, that, if they can still have love and life after risking so much, then Sandringham can risk a little bit to rebuild. And he talks about starting with the inn and then the town hall, and then, shelter will be given to all of those that need it, and it goes on and on. And everybody's paying attention, except for perhaps the parents of Torin, Sebastian, and Natasha, who are probably wishing you well and getting you packed out on the road, etc. But as you turn around, you see that Hennick is out on the cart, Black Radish at the front, ready to move onwards.
Well, everyone, we can't go back to town. So, I see no reason we shouldn't keep serving our interests, though. We all ready to go?
Agreed, Hennick.
Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say I'll join Hennick. Probably not in the car, but next to him.
Yeah. A couple of you ride in the car, front of the cart, or you're walking next to it. You can all ride in and on the cart. Black Radish is a strong beast. Strong enough. Go on, Josh.
I'll give my mom and dad a hug and say goodbye, and then I'll go sit on the cart.
Well, and you are all wished well upon your travels. Natasha, your mother will pack you off with some fresh vegetables, which I'm assuming you will hand to Hennick. So Hennick, if you want to add 2 lots of fresh vegetables and the potatoes, you're more than welcome to, as they will not let you travel without food. And so we move down the road. And after a short while down the road, see somebody traveling in the opposite direction. This is a man who is wearing quite fine plate mail armor, but over the back he has this sort of long cloak, and on this cloak is a singular crescent moon and 3 stars. It's a deep blue cloak with silver on silver on the moon and stars. You know this to be one of the priests of Saloon, quite a high up priest of Saloon. To be wearing plate mail armor, he must be very, very rich, or very, very important. He has a shield slung on his back and a large mace at his hip, and he rides a white horse. As he gets sort of level with you or near to you on the road, he sort of raises his hand in greeting. Hail there, travellers.
Hail, great cleric.
Might I ask where you're headed?
We make our way to Lovalen.
I see. I come from Lovan. And there is some trouble up ahead on the road.
Trouble?
Yeah, there was an altercation between what looks to be some bandits and perhaps a rival faction, a gang of some sort.
Bandits. It's always
Yeah,
bandits.
as soon as he says bandits, I'll turn to the group and sort of give them, like, the eye.
Yeah,
Always bandits.
well, it's one group of bandits as far as we know, causing most of the trouble in Jawston, at least certainly in the north of Jawston, though a rival faction seems to have got in their way and left them dead to rights on the road. You can head down the road, but please make swift pace and good luck to you. If not, perhaps you might want to break off the road, though I'm not sure how that card will fare off-road. I wish I could stay and escort you, but I must get to Harbondon as soon as possible. Any news of the road ahead?
Well, not the road, but just in general. We're all from Sandringham, and the town has been destroyed by orcs.
Sorry.
So you might find bigger trouble than bandits. Gone for the moment, we believe, but
You have to give him a sec, I think.
yeah.
Sometimes it's just the worst timing, isn't it?
It would be fine if she wasn't deaf. Then makes a phone call and then can't hear anything I say to her. Really sorry, Joan. I have no idea what you were saying.
No, I was just telling him that that the town was destroyed and that there are orcs around.
Oh, so you did tell him you're from Sandringham?
Yes.
Okay, he will immediately ask after Baron, the healer.
What do we know of Baron the healer?
Yeah, absolutely fine. Nobody in the village died. Nobody.
Yeah.
The only 2 people injured were Ogren and Kelvin.
Kelvin.
Yeah. So that's the same news you can give to anybody in here. Oh, he's a great man. He trained at our temple briefly. Glad to hear that he does well. I'm so sorry to hear of your loss. It must be terrible. Damn orcs. Well, thank you for the warning. I shall keep eyes ahead of me. Safe journeys.
And you.
Your name, kind cleric.
Hey, call me Valen. I am one of the head priests at the Temple of Ceylon. Yes, not gonna.
I shan't forget it.
No, please don't. I shall.
Sorry, priest of what temple?
Saloon. What is going on? Ugh. Hey Raiders, thank you very much for joining us. We are currently mid-session in the 5th episode of Beldania. As you notice that upon the road, you see this priest sort of waving ahead to the road and suggesting that perhaps as you go, he might wish you some aid before you leave. And he will quite specifically offer you some aid. Each one of you will get 5 temporary HP. As he spares you a level 1 spell slot.
You notice that Natasha is looking at that spell with a very keen eye.
It's sort of part of the spell is sort of the magic of encouragement. It's as much sort of a guiding you in your actions on the road and suggesting that you travel well and fairly, as much as it is actual divine magic and beseeching his god to assist you on the road. And if this fucking duckbot doesn't work in a minute, I'm gonna go mad. Like, just work. It's not hard. Like, I'm cueing music. Just play. Go.
Technical difficulties.
Like, it's really not that hard. Thanks. I'm just bashing this bastard. Oh no, there we go. Fantastic. So yeah, as he leaves you, you are able to travel onwards across the road. And who's in charge of perception checks? Is that Torin?
That would be Torin.
Yeah, cool.
Can I help?
I'm gonna let Torin roll ahead. Go ahead and roll, Torin. See what you
I mean,
see.
can I give him guidance?
Yes, very much so. You know, have on the shoulder, work well. You know.
La. 20, dirty 20.
20. Would you like to hunt some lunch?
I certainly would.
Fantastic. You see a wild pig sort of scuttering through the bush, possibly running from something. But yeah, Torin is easily able to grab his bow and chase after. Please give me a survival check. With your proficiency modifier, I think. Are you at that point yet? What's your hunter's tools difficult level? 2, right?
Hunter's tools are 2 right now.
Yeah, no modifier. Just a survival check.
7.
A 7! Oh, excellent. That's going well for you. You quickly lose the pig in the brush. However, you do manage to see what's chasing it.
Use the guidance, Torin.
Yeah,
I used the guidance for the perception already.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, 20.
At this point, you do, however, make out the beast that's chasing it. You see a large wolf. You know, big, broad shoulders. It sort of stares you down. You can hunt this if you want, but it will involve rolling initiative. Because it is not pissing about.
Is it like sort of barreling towards me?
Yeah, it's coming through the brush. It's gonna run past you as it makes its way after the pig. I'd say you know that this is not going to be something that's terribly frightening. But you will have to roll that initiative just because it's going to take some assistance.
We don't have any meat. I don't think.
You have dried meat, but you have no.
Yeah.
You have no.
Yeah, no fresh meat. Okay, so Torin will sort of, after seeing this wolf sort of barreling towards him, will throw down his short bow, and draw his grandfather's sword.
Lovely.
And he will scream back to the party, "Wolf!"
Yeah, pop your initiatives in. Oh, well, I'm not in the mountains.
My goodness.
Yep, let's just grab... I don't know why Kiava was doing up all the way up there. Oh, you were having a brave day, Kiava, weren't you? So yeah, you guys are able to see this fight up ahead. Just bear with me while I get rid of a couple of things and give you a wolf to fight. It's nothing major, but he is a big fella. Cool. That's a nice initiative you got going there, Kiavo.
Big initiative,
your
Kiavo.
initiative hasn't come through.
I think Bruno has stepped aside. Natasha's hiding in a bush.
Natasha's hiding in a bush. Okay, fantastic. She will be designated an initiative of 10.
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just going to have my head in a book. I'm not going to be able to do very much here.
That's
clearly.
absolutely fine. Henrik, you hear this cry out from Torin. But Torin, the surprise round is yours. As you see this wolf barreling towards you.
I will, so I'll nimbly draw my grandfather's rapier, and I will... I believe I'll just make straight for it.
Okay. Go ahead.
And
Bang away.
wang! That's definitely not going to hit. It's
No,
a 6.
that doesn't even hit my targets. It's not that it doesn't hit. You swing with this sword, but right now, you're not quite as used to wielding more dexterous weapon. And therefore, you got an initiative of 10, Natasha. Which puts you second in the list. So as you sort of bring your sword to bear on this beast, it just doesn't really affect it in the same way. It's got a nice thick coat, and you haven't quite sussed how to use this yet. Henrik, you're the first to respond. You are 30, 35, 40 feet away.
I don't have any rocks.
You have one. You picked up
Yeah,
the scorched rock.
I don't want to lose that in a wolf.
Well, you might be able to pick it up again after the fight.
Yeah.
It's not going to break.
It's going to be important to get it back, but I suppose I will jump down from the cart and whirl that at him.
Okay. Oh, you don't need to actually jump, do anything, do
No.
you? You've got the range, yeah. You notice your
Yeah.
sort of telekinetic abilities are coming to bear more and more as you throw these rocks, and you're able to make this throw with ease, whereas before it would have been more difficult.
Yeah, so with a sort of half a moment's pause looking at this particular rock from my field, I decide what's important is what's important, and I whip it at him.
And roll with advantage, please, because this is the rock that, it's important that you're willing to part
Wow.
with it. Well,
That's
that
worth it,
works.
because the second one was a 20, so
Natural
natural 20.
Congratulations.
Let's go!
Give us some deeps.
So that's 10 total damage.
Henrik's mighty crits.
Yeah.
Well,
Beautiful.
it's something. That's not bad. Any bonus action from Henrik?
Not just yet, no. I'm
Okay.
good.
That brings us to Sebastian.
Okay, let me roll. Okay. What is this?
You going all floaty toty?
Yup, pretty much. Okay, let me Google what this is.
What is it? You can just tell me.
Okay, I've got it. Okay, so as per usual, you guys see Sebastian float slightly off the ground and his eyes.
Sorry, are you moving before you cast this?
No.
Okay, cool.
And his eyes start glowing, and then how am I using this one? And
What on earth is Kitty doing?
Torin, you start feeling something tingling in your mouth, and then to the point where you can't keep your mouth open, and then as your jaw drops, lightning just splurts out. The wolf needs to make a dex save.
Okay, so this is Torin being given Dragon's Breath?
Yes.
The irony of that is quite beautiful, considering you cast it on a
honestly.
Dragonborn.
Yeah, I'm just like...
Yeah, he's like, always before, it's been fire, and then suddenly this lightning just pours out, and he's like,
Well, yeah. Well, that's why I did
like a
choose
really
fire.
awkward sneeze. The dex check is an 11. You will do full damage with that. Is it a 2d6 plus modifier?
It's a 3d6.
3d6,
Oh.
but with no modifier then, yeah?
And that's 17 lightning damage.
Oh!
So it does have a modifier, or you just rolled really well?
I
You
just rolled
really
6s and a 5.
Disgusting. Oh my god.
So-
Okay, you notice its muscles sort of seize up as it goes into shock as the lightning hits it. The wolf sort of pulls over to the side, but however, you did hit 2 other targets. As you notice that flanking him behind are 2 smaller wolves. You didn't see these in the brush until you electrified them with your lightning breath.
Okay.
Sebastian, no bonus action?
I've got
I don't.
one question
I
here for
don't
that.
think so. No, I don't.
Natasha, you're up.
Okay, so Natasha raises her shield, and she's gonna say, "Don't worry, guys. I'll keep you safe." And she's going to cast Bless on herself, on Torin, and Kiavo.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's going to use her 30 movement speed to stand right in front of the wolf. The big one. And she's going to bonus action cast Spiritual Weapon with an 11 plus... So with a 14 to hit it.
14, that is hitting. Sorry,
Nice.
you've got this out behind the big dude, right?
Yeah, the spiritual weapon will be behind it.
Counter that.
You know, as she's thinking of what to use to draw from her god's force, she's gonna think of the first thing that comes to her head, and you see a huge pan spawn behind the wolf, and it smacks him down on the head.
Okay. Lay the smackdown on him with the frying pan, please.
It's 5 damage,
Ooh, not a bad hit.
and she'll end her turn with shields up in front of the wolf.
Yeah, cool. That lands a large smack. Bless you put on yourself, Torin, and Kiavo.
And Kiavo, so you have 1d4 on saving throws or attack rolls.
The wolf, with this, as it takes this frying pan bash, will attempt to hit you. It's another monster that doesn't let me roll off its sheet. How annoying. I don't know what this is, so it's rolling with advantage. Oh, that doesn't help it at all. That is a 13 to hit you, Natasha.
That hits.
Oh, so it does. Oh, okay. Well, that's depressing. That is 5 piercing damage. That is minimum. Oh, sorry, 7 piercing damage. That is minimum damage. I would definitely take the jar of ants with the flat soda, by the way. 100%. And that concludes its turn. One of the smaller wolves comes out towards Torin, as that is who had noticed first. Natasha, you will get an attack of opportunity, though, if you wish.
I wish. I wish indeed. I will slam my mace, but I don't think... Hold on. That's a 7 plus...
That's a
Does a
fucking
9
hopeful
hit?
bless. Nope.
I'll try to hit its legs, but I'm guessing
yeah,
you just
you
steps over.
unfortunately miss. And it takes a bite at Torin. It does not roll with Pack Tactics. It doesn't fucking need to with a 19, though.
Jeez.
Yeah, that is 5 piercing damage. And the third wolf will come out to Natasha. It attempts to bite her with Pack Tactics. That is definitely hitting. That is a 22 to hit for 3 piercing damage. Torin, you're up.
So Torin is just gonna burp after breathing out this strange blast of lightning. And sort of just think, what the fuck was that? And I will engage the wolf in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Bless.
I'm gonna use that bless.
Yeah, you will.
Okay.
You can use it as many times as you need.
Okay, so feeling invigorated from Natasha's blessing, I'm going to whack the shit out of this wolf. Kind of. 7 damage. And sort of feel
Just
like
7
sort of-
damage?
7 damage, yeah.
Okay, it's not quite dead. You're not smiting, right?
No. It's mine right now.
Okay, cool. Kiavo, you're up.
How big are these squares? 5?
Yes.
Right. I'll move up and left my full 35.
That seems highly unnecessary. Yep.
Actually, I'll go a little bit lower, so I'm sort of in a line with E1 and E3.
I see.
Yeah. And I'm going to try to line shoot through those, avoiding Natasha.
Nice and easy.
Yep, let's go with my nice new spell, Agonizer Scorcher. My spell book flips open and
Yeah, that's it. You just
That's
spend
one
your
of the
second level
pages.
spell slot on lunch.
yeah, why not? I've got enough of them.
That's what I did.
Spell slots.
Cool.
Yes, that's Dex save DC 13.
That's a success and a fail. E3 succeeds. E1 fails.
That's 17 damage.
Oh. Cool. All right, they're both dead. That works. They're both dead, and they're partially cooked for you, Henrik. That's nice of him, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Get it started.
Well, any bonus action from you, Kiavo?
Do I even have a bonus action? I don't think I do somehow.
Don't think so. Tiny
no.
desk, maybe. So, yeah, Henrik,
Or
you,
nothing.
Henrik, you, back up. That's your turn.
All right. Yeah, I'm just going to get close enough within 20 feet and wing my dagger at him. Since I can do that.
Yep. So you're throwing a dagger?
Yeah, I have a dagger.
First.
It's 15.
15 will hit.
And it will do a very exciting 4 damage.
Ooh. That will. Is that enough? Sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at once. I should never try to do 2 things. I can't even do 1 thing at once properly. Where's my cat? Yeah, that's plenty. Yeah, he's dead. So, lunch is served. The pig got away, but I don't know how wolf tastes. You like wolf? Oh, sorry. That's a harsh reminder of life, isn't it? It's not the one
That's
I
the
was
result of
looking
my spell,
for.
clearly.
That's the one I was looking for.
James,
Yeah.
just for future reference, when I cast, let's say I casted Dragon's Breath again in combat, would that be a sustained thing that, let's say I used it on Torrent again,
As per spell.
that he chooses?
As per the spell. So, is it a concentration spell?
Yeah.
Yep, so as long as you are not concentrating on anything else at the time, it will act as if you cast a spell from your spellbook as written. If you are concentrating on something else at the time, you re-roll.
Okay.
Yeah?
Would that have happened on my turn though, or on Sebastian's turn?
Yeah, it doesn't actually, Sebastian, what it actually says is that it gives them the ability to breathe Dragon Breath if they wish. It doesn't automatically happen.
Yeah, it's a bonus action.
Yeah, so you just say, like, Torin feels like a sort of, well, I mean, yeah, unfortunately being Torin, it wouldn't have actually done anything at all. But in general, like, it would just give them the ability where they feel like there's a flame at their throat or lightning at their throat, and then they'd be able to use it as a bonus action, and that would be concentration.
So it would be my concentration, but their bonus action.
Exactly.
Right.
Cool. However, with fight over, and you all prancing along the road, yeah.
I was just gonna say before we finish up, I was gonna, assuming that I had seen Henrik throw the black rock, I'll
and a dagger.
yeah, I'll pick up the rock anyway, and hand it back to him.
Cool. Yeah, Henrik, you're able to retrieve both rock and dagger.
Thank
Torin,
you.
are you going to attempt to harvest any parts from these animals, or are we just going to carve them up for lunch?
I'll say that we'll carve up the 2 smaller wolves for lunch, and the larger one I'll try to maybe skin for its pelt.
Yep, so let's have a look here. Give me a... Oh, nice low DC. Give me your dex check, please. For harming things.
18.
Hey! Okay, so you are able to get one animal bone. One, I think, is it under wolf pelt, or just pelt, or... Good luck. I think there's a pelt. If you search pelt.
Let's see.
No, hide, perhaps? Yeah, unrefined hide. There you go, that's what I'm looking for.
Unrefined hide.
Yeah, 2 pieces of unrefined hide. And you are also able to get 2 animal teeth. Animal tooth, I guess. 2 times animal tooth.
Amaze.
Yeah, so there's a difference between animal skin and unrefined hide. If you were skinning, like, for example, a pig, that would give you animal skin. Any beast with fur will give you hide. And that would be able to be refined into leather, as would skin. And Hennick, you have enough wolf to cook some good lunch.
I will do that, and also along the way, especially given that Torin gave me the stone back and is who Torin is and working on these wolf hides and so forth, I'm gonna say to him, I'm hoping not to have to throw that one in the future. I got kind of other ideas for it, and I was wondering if you might at some point be able to help me get my hands on some leather cord. I've been thinking about making some jewelry type of things. Found out some interesting information back in Harbondon, and kind of special plans for this rock. So if that comes up,
you say, Nick?
Yeah.
I didn't take you for a dandy.
No, I know, and that's exactly the attitude I was feared of. But I don't know, I got some good advice back in town. That if it's not about adorning the person and more about raising up the item itself, showing the beauty of the thing, and of course the importance in this particular case. I found this stone under the ashes of my crops, so yeah, that's the way I'm thinking. But,
I'll place my hand on his shoulder and say, "Of course, my friend. I'll get to it as soon as we get back, or as soon as we arrive to Louvain."
It's kind of you, thank you. In the meantime, I guess I better find something better to throw around. And I'd like to.
I can make a perception check.
Yeah, sure.
Find a rock.
That would be 21.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll definitely do it. You are able to find 3 rocks.
Okay, delightful. I just didn't re-pick him up after the previous battle because we were racing back to our burning town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Right,
definitely makes sense.
Do you want me to do any rolls for cooking wolf?
Yes, please. I
Sure.
will take your. What is it these days? It's wisdom or con plus your modifier. Excuse me, with the doorbell. Yeah, wisdom or con, your choice, plus your proficiency modifier, because you've got 3, right?
Yeah. Okay, so my con's a little higher. So let's see. Then plus 3 would be 21 again.
21. Fantastic. You are
Yeah.
able to make a very satisfactory meal. Please roll me a d8.
All right.
Shut up!
4.
Well, that's the temp HP that you'll all get.
Oh, well, we had the 5 already, so keep the 5.
Yeah, it lasts 8 hours. These are increases to your max HP, by the way, not technically temp HP.
It depends which is which. Yeah.
So both are both. Both are increases
Okay.
to max HP. You mean from the aid? So yeah, you'll be able to get up to 9.
Which, if it was 8, it should have been. I didn't say.
Yeah, both of them are increased max HP. So you can find your max HP modifier in your thingy page, and we can discover why this music just really doesn't want to play.
Maybe a 9 to max HP.
Yeah, your max HP will be increased by 9. I'll just cue them as songs instead, because this is really annoying. Here we go. Weirdly plays a song it was originally meant to be playing. All right, whatever. I'm not even going to argue with Duckbot today. I think we might move on to using Spotify at some point for our music sharing, because frankly, the Duckbot is just not my favorite person right now. However, you are able to make some progress on the road after lunch. Please, can I have a survival check from somebody who's breaking the road that isn't Torin, because Torin obviously is doing the looking around.
I could do that.
Yep, sure.
That's a 10.
Okay, a 10. Yeah, you're able to sort of work out exactly which way you should be going. And... Hennick, can I have an animal handling check, please?
You certainly can. That would be 11.
Okay, you attempt to maneuver the cart around what appears to be a sort of a divot in the road, and possibly also some sort of iron chest. And yeah, it is a iron chest. As the cart sort of swerves round, it does tip slightly, and the sacks fall off the back. Chiavo, Natasha, and Sebastian, I need a dex save. And while you're doing that, I'll answer the question in chat. 5th edition and homebrew is... there's quite a lot of homebrew, both to races and to spells and to crafting. But other than that, we're following standard rules. Yeah, there's a lot of homebrew.
I got a 17.
17 on Sebastian. Torin? Sorry, I'll come to you next. Apparently we're really hungry right now. Chiavo? Torin, I didn't actually need yours. You're walking back to the cart.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I wasn't,
Chiavo?
13.
13, okay. And Natasha?
5.
5, lovely. You'll take 2 bludgeoning damage as you fall out the back of the cart. Henrik will notice and stop for you. But as you fall out the back of the cart, your elbow bumps into a sort of weirdly untended chest.
Natasha will look up at the party and look back at the chest and say, "What's this then?"
Yeah.
Don't rightly know. You're down there closer. Sorry about that.
what does it look like, Natasha?
Swerve.
It's it looks like a chest.
A chest, you say?
A chest. Yeah.
Are you gonna open it?
Oh yeah, Torin will sort of help Natasha up at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
As she's like sort of like holding onto the chest ice.
And yeah, I'll crack it open then.
Yeah, it's locked.
I'll break the lock.
What are you going to attempt to use to break said lock? It's an internal locking mechanism.
Oh.
The chest is made of iron.
Oh.
Yeah, go on, Sebastian. Talk.
I'll waddle on over.
We gave you this for a reason. I mean, please do.
I'll place the chest in front of Sebastian as I see him wobbling.
And I'll take out one of my claws.
Hey, just bear with me a second. Sorry, I'm just going to pull us back. We don't need to be looking at the map right now. Yeah, cool. Pick up one of your claws, yeah. And give me your thieves' tools check. So that is a dex check plus
Guidance.
efficiency modifier, I think.
Guidance.
With the guidance of the epic.
Which is guidance?
D4. Yeah.
That's a 14.
14 is plenty. As you put in your sharpened claw and twist it, you are able to pick the lock on the chest and you open it. And what you see is something, I'm not even sure that you know what these are. Give me an intelligence check.
That's a natural 20.
Yeah, these are ball bearings. Thousands of them. In fact, approximately 3,000 of them.
It's a what?
Ball bearings.
What's that?
Yeah, so they're small metal balls. Used for perhaps throwing down on the stairs so that somebody slips down them, or
The marbles.
Smaller than marbles.
smaller, yeah, but
Oh, that gives me an idea.
May I have 10 of those, Sebastian?
well, you can take 1,000 each because there's 3 lots of 1,000. If you wish to divide them up, we're not gonna. I mean, you can divide them into 1s and 2s, but
How big are these things?
They're ball bearings.
No, like how big are the ball bearings? Because they can come in multiple sizes, can't they?
Oh, I don't know. They're ball bearings. They're
Millimeter.
Smaller than a marble, apparently.
Like tiny, or are they like a centimeter across? Or
There's
what?
3,000 of them in a small iron chest. Do you think they're a
I'll just-
centimeter across?
Well,
Yeah,
it depends
I'll
on how
just-
small the iron chest is, because it could be like
Okay,
1 foot high
what
chest.
difference does it make to you how big they are? They are small ball
because-
bearings. They are approximately 1/4 of an inch across.
Okay, because
I don't
my
know.
thought was, we could get a slingshot Give Hennick a slingshot instead of being able to throw rocks. Just have him
Hennick
throw
has
slingshot balls.
had a sling, and it would do far. These would not do much damage if they hit you.
Shame. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I got a bit of affinity with the rocks and make me a bit tougher with those, my friend. But thank you very much.
Fair
Um,
enough.
Just gonna
It was
get
brainwave.
handfuls, and I'm just gonna be like, and you get marbles, and you get marbles.
As you do so, please give me a perception check. Sorry, investigation check with advantage, as you are a very perceptive beast. Yeah, you might be able to use them if you're casting like catapult, but it's not just for throwing. They just wouldn't build up enough momentum in a slingshot. They're too light.
Well, these are going to be great for when I'm out cooking pies.
Investigation check, Josh?
$19.
19 is plenty. You see that in amongst all these ball bearings are 2 gems. One
I was
of
really
them is,
hoping you'd say marbles.
one of them is an alexandrite, and the other one is a black pearl. These would be worth a decent amount of money if sold to a jeweler. These are the treasure that's hidden amongst them. However, at this moment, Torin, give me a perception check if you have advantage to hearing perception checks. Roll with advantage, but I don't think you do.
Seven.
The depression with which you said that. Okay, so you do not hear someone coming. That's good. Isn't that? Yeah. Hennick, I'm afraid this affects you. You can blame Torin later for his shitty roll.
My passive is 13 if it helps.
No, I looked through the passages. None of you had enough.
Shit.
I'm afraid that your hempen rope and your shovel have been stolen from the back of your cart while you were distracted
enough.
by the untended treasure in the middle of the road. However, they didn't know there was black pearls in the iron chest, so it's a trade-off. But yes, unfortunately, you have lost those 2 items.
So this was a trap to scam us.
That was the idea, yes.
Okay, I'll look at Hennick and say, Hennick, it appears we have been bamboozled. What shall we do?
Oh, wait, now what now? What's going on? Oh, the rope and I think I had a shovel back here. What? Well,
Oh
I
no,
don't
your
know.
mighty shovel!
I just wanted to steal something really cool from you, and then I looked at what was in your cart, and I was like, "Oh shit! I'm taking a rope and a shovel." All right, very good.
Shall we seek these bandits?
Just had a quick question before that, though. Was that the only rope that the group have?
Let me check.
I think it was, right? Yeah. So
Question.
that was actually quite valuable to you guys. Yeah, as far as I know, that is the only rope that you guys had.
Yeah, I do
yeah.
not have a rope.
No.
What did Natasha just say?
Should we seek out these bandits?
Tasha,
Well,
you wanna fight?
No fight, per se, but recollect what was taken from us.
Right, okay, I've got there's something shit, this will take too long, it's a ritual.
We're
what
gonna
is
little
it?
fight
What
me
is it?
today, Sebastian.
Yeah, I was gonna
Sorry?
use Kimia's speak with objects and use that on the cart and see if it could tell us where the people that stole them
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Ask
You
us
can do that while
us
everybody
where
else is
people
having a
ran
think.
off. Yep.
Please
Oh,
do
I can
my
do
guess.
it quickly because I've got my features because of
You should have Order of Scribes. I think your rituals only take 5 minutes, or is it 1
yeah,
minute?
yeah, no, when it casts a wizard spell as a ritual, I can use the spell's normal casting time, but I can use it only once per long rest.
Oh, you're going to use that, yeah? Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
so I'm gonna
Yeah, but in
use it on the
general, I mean,
cart.
rituals are, it's only a few minutes for that ritual. Yeah,
But
okay.
actually, they can go really far in 3 minutes.
So, the cart has an intelligence of 4. What are you asking it? You
I'm
know
ju- I'm
it's
just-
problem when I'm rolling the intelligence on a d6, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, what are you asking?
there was someone at the back here. Where did they go? Do you know?
Oh, wait.
Just a direction, simply.
As you face the cart, it explains that it's behind you. So down the road.
Okay, and I point in a direction down the road. Down
The
there,
cart
left
has
or right?
gained intelligence, not eyes.
Yes, okay. Right, so it's just down the road, right? Okay, that's all I need to know.
Further down the road is the implication.
Yep.
And it also tells you 4 legs. It had 4 legs.
4 legs, possibly horseback then. Okay. Right, that's all. Thank you.
What a strange Leonin you are.
I mean, you wanted to get your shovel and rope back, right? So, I just had an idea.
You know, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I was a little bit more worried about getting my town back.
True.
This isn't exactly the greatest injustice we've suffered in the last couple of days. But if they're on down the road further and we see our shovel and rope, I'll be happy to take them back for sure.
But
If
Henrik,
it's that way, we're
it's
headed
not
there anyhow.
morally correct. We cannot let
Well
these
said.
things-
Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to give an inspiration out to Chiavo for addressing the cart so solemnly and pointing in a direction. Yeah, I mean, you can assume that it's further down the road, and they had 4 legs.
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh,
what you want from me.
It's
No,
a,
that's fine.
it's
That's
a
everything.
Solomon.
Well, if they're on horseback, we're probably not catching them on a cart.
Yeah. And also,
So-
it's backwards.
Yeah.
So
Well-
it's down the road from the cart, right? The cart obviously is behind the horse, away from the direction you were going. So it's backwards. Are you going backwards for your shovel and rope, or are you going forwards?
No, we're not going to be able to catch them. They're on horseback. That's
Come on,
not
Okay,
happening.
give me an
Oh.
intelligence check, please, on this horseback, or somebody give me an insight check, because
I mean, you said 4 legs. It's
it
obvious
has
that it's
4
going to be
legs.
horseback, right?
Is it obvious? I think they said they were on foot.
I'm gonna guidance
Oh.
myself, and I got a
Okay.
16 on the insight.
Yeah, okay. Between Chiavo and Torin, you have 4 legs.
Okay,
just
so it
telling
might
you
be
there's
just
2
two
of them.
people walking away.
That's all I
Okay.
was trying to tell you.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize that was such a confusing concept. Everybody's like, it's a centaur, it's a horse. I'm like, it's 2 people.
Well,
What the fuck?
since Henrik made the decision to keep going forward, I think Natasha's gonna sit in the car and look quite upset at the injustice that happened here today. She really liked that shovel.
We can buy more shovels.
True.
With Black Pearl and an Alexandrite, you can probably buy 60 or 70 shovels, and at least 5 pieces of rope.
She'll mutter, but that was our shovel, and stay quiet for the rest of the trip.
You've also gained a chest, if you want to put that in the cart. It's an actual chest, so you could use that for like locking stuff in, etc. Yeah, and you can also hide stuff amongst the bull bearings that Bastion was spreading out like confetti. Yeah, there was so the chest, 3 sets of 1,000 bull bags, and an Alexandrite and a Black Pearl. You can just make note of that, and we'll give it out at the end of the session. And so, continuing plodding along the road. It is approaching early evening.
I would like to spend a little while doing something if I can.
Yeah? What are you doing?
So I've got this book, right? The book from the Mages Guild about the talking spell books.
That you do, yeah. Telling you all
Can I
about the
take a little
history.
read
of them.
on?
Yeah, give
Yeah.
me intelligence check.
That's a nat 20. Oof.
Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, you're able to get quite far through this, through the first section, telling you about how these were once created by the Moon Elves, high-up mages of the Moon Elves, who created these talking spellbooks for wizards who specialize not in any particular school, but in learning as much magic as possible and learning varied, different magic. They basically tell you about the features of your subclass and other various uninteresting stuff. But they tell you about some other, bizarre stuff, how you can channel spells through the Awakened spellbook, and they can be your spellcasting focus. And yeah, they tell you about this sort of changing and altering spells, adjusting the way that the magic works. As you're sort of doing this, sort of practicing away. Like I'd like to think you're firing sort of just firebolt up into the sky or frostbite.
Well,
sorry,
frostbite,
up into the
because,
sky.
yeah.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah.
You realize that perhaps it would require a greater spell for you to be able to do this.
Not a cantrip, yes.
But yes, you would realize that you are perhaps able to do this a little bit more on demand than some other people. You will still have to make an Arcana check to change the damage of a spell permanently, but you will obviously still be able to do it once a day, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously not today because you've used your ritual objects shebang, but yes. It starts to tell you about your subclass, basically.
Excellent.
As you're going along the road, I wonder if perhaps Sebastian is also reading. As you found a book that Furlock gave you. Yes, thank you. Well, I did want to give you mirror image straight away, you know, so. As you read about this, you read about mages who could once duplicate themselves into multiple copies of themselves. Give me an Arcana check, please.
That's a 14.
Yeah, that's plenty. You are able to write magic missile. You're able to write mirror image into your spellbook.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Just do some ticking. Oh yes, Kiavo, you also read of a secret technique within your book. You are able to add secret page if you can make the Arcana check for me, though. Sorry, I should have said make an Arcana check and then tell you what you just got, but well, you'll find out what you'll miss out on.
Do I still have the guidance thing available?
Oh, I haven't lost a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that's a 7. I'm probably not doing that.
7? Oof. Yeah, the next time you read through this book, you might be able to work it out, but right now, that's a nope.
Yeah.
Okay. And as you continue down the road, we approach sort of... It's coming up to dinner time. You're looking for a place to make a camp. Can I get a perception check from Torin and a survival check from Kiavo, please?
Righto.
12 on the perception.
15 on survival.
Cool. Yeah, Torin, you see a place that looks kind of alright to camp. Kiavo, you swiftly realize that the trees will provide good shelter here. And you are able to maneuver yourselves into, a good position to have a peaceful evening. Yeah.
For 10 minutes, I'm going to be, sat in the middle of the camp, slowly, waving my stuff around, and I'm going to cast Private Sanctum over the camp.
As you are doing that, do you guys have a tent between you?
I thought we picked up a manufactory tent from...
Oh, you were given one, weren't you? Yes, of course you were.
Yes. Aldic.
Yeah,
Aldic.
more basic. Yes, Aldic. You were given a more basic one. But yes, it is enough to at least let you guys be comfortable inside. It keeps the weather off. Hennick, I'll take a D100, please.
All right.
See if anyone is coming down the road.
That is a 54.
Cool. And can I have a D20, please?
Why not? 9.
9? Wing. Ah, okay. Where you have camped, you see that there is an unusual sort of crevice in the rock behind you. Torin, this probably takes your eye more than anybody else's. As you notice that there is, a sort of unusual...
I'll make my way over and investigate a little.
Okay, and you definitely notice that there are some unusual plants. It's an ivy, sort of very curved ivy, growing up the wall. Who's our herbalism? Kiavo?
I think Kiavo.
Yes, that'd be me.
Kiavo, as Torin informs you of this, you go up. Give me an intelligence check, please.
I've never seen this plant before. Kiavo.
It's an 8 on int, so I don't think I can tell you very much about it.
No, you don't know a huge amount about this, but you do know that it's definitely some sort of alchemical plant. You can tell that it's got properties.
Yeah. So I'll relay this information. It's going to do something.
Well, yeah, go ahead and make a dex check to see if you can...
Yeah, I believe a clipping is in order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot with my dex check.
No
That's a
proficiency modifier.
5.
I'll help him. I'll help him.
Ooh, okay. How would you be assisting him in this?
Like, probably just like looking around the plant and being like, I think you should snip here. No, wait, hold on. Maybe here.
Yeah, okay. I will let you attempt to make the int check yourself. I'm not going to let you give him advantage because yeah.
Was it straight in check or?
Yeah, just a straight int check to see if you actually have any clue what you're talking about.
I do not at all.
No, I didn't think you did.
Even less than Kiavo.
Yeah, well, Kiavo at least knew something about it. But yeah, when it comes to making a dex check, unfortunately, despite the massive ivy, Kiavo, you only get 1 clipping of this. Fiend's ivy. Just type ivy and it should come up. Yeah, and as you all sit around the campfire to take rest, Hennick, there was enough meat for you to have stored enough for an evening meal as well. I'm just going to roll off the back of your previous roll. You prepped this meal literally 5 hours ago. You're not going to struggle to make the same thing again. What's going with the wolf meat for dinner? Is there any sort of other?
I was thinking we would do it as sandwiches. I've got some bread.
Love it. Wolf sandwich.
Yep, wolf sandwich.
Brilliant. Yeah, you will tuck into your wolf sandwich. Just 1 bread is fine for a full meal of sandwiches. And yeah, you guys would maintain the temp HP buff that you had from before, so the max HP buff that you had from before, so that will last into the night now. And who will be keeping watch? Because this is, you're on the roadside.
Quick question: how much max HP is this that we have extra? Is it?
I think it's 9.
We had 9, yeah. I think.
The aid one might have gone by now. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
aid
right.
only lasts 8 hours, so that would drop off. So you would have.
So let's say 5.
4.
Oh, I thought it was 5.
No,
The
5
8
is
was
8.
4. Oh,
8
okay.
is always 5, unless it's 10. Up and out.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of material components, did aid require any material components, Bruno? Doesn't, does it?
I thought that wizard gave us the aid.
The priest did, but I'm just wondering in future for.
Oh yeah, wizard.
I need a tiny strip of white cloth.
Oh, that's fine. You can just have that. Yeah, I'm not really too fussed about that. It seems a bit bizarre requirement. I'm going to say you need a holy symbol, which you have, right? Do you have a holy symbol? Oh, yeah, you were given one. Of course you would, with your book. Jamal, if you're going to interact with chat via your keyboard, it would be lovely if you could mute your microphone.
Sorry.
Much as I appreciate you taking part and participating, it's very annoying to listen to you rattle away.
Yeah, I didn't realise that'd be coming through. My bad.
As you guys make camp for the night, who's going to take the first watch?
I believe Natasha volunteered.
Oh, did she? How kind of her. So Natasha for the first 2 hours, and then you should just set up a running order for this.
Thorin will
it's
take
the same every time.
second watch.
Yep. Go on, press the mic. See it.
Do we need a watch?
Yes.
No one can see us.
Anytime you're out in the wilderness, you need a watch, even if nobody can see you.
Boo.
Yeah.
Safety first, Sebastian.
Yeah. Sebastian has decided his private sanctum is enough. So I'm going to designate Kiamo
Nobody
as the
can
next
see us
watch,
for it.
and Hennick will take the morning watch. Cool.
Yeah, so would I.
Sebastian's going to sleep and know that he's absolutely fine. Yeah, no one can see you in modern sanctum. In modern Chinese private sanctum. I understand why I can't say anything.
Before I sleep, I'm going to cast Mage Armor on myself.
Yeah. Well, this is a very intriguing system where you only ever have armor during the night.
Just in case, you never know.
Well, I've yet to needed it in combat, and you said that every time you use it, eventually,
Yeah, and,
ignoration, you won't have to
I
cast
see
it
this
anymore.
as a mage practicing, so I'm fine with that. Roll me a D4 first.
I didn't make the
John.
rules, James.
Roll me a D4 first.
Okay. Remember the last time you asked me to roll something for Mage Armor, I got a 5, and you
Yeah,
never said
I
it.
know. I want the D4 first.
That's a 4.
4, 6, 8, 10. Roll me a D10.
Are we just going to keep going?
No. You rolled the D4 to decide which dice you would roll to see how long the mage armor lasted.
Josh, you're just gaming his rules so specifically that he's making it incomprehensible.
That's a 6.
Yeah, great. It lasts 6 hours. Brilliant. It's gone up by an hour. Happy days.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I had a question, Josh. How does this mage armor manifest around Sebastian?
Yeah, that is interesting.
like most of his abjuration spells, you don't really see it until he gets hit. So, like, although I suppose with mage armor that's
It's a
different.
minor
I suppose
shimmer.
every so often, like maybe every 5 minutes, just like a shimmer goes down his body.
Okay, cool.
Maybe perhaps when the moonlight catches him unusually. You know?
I was picturing like
Happens to look a little bit shiny.
I was picturing almost like the Michelin Man, kind of like padded armor. It's just, like, you can like roll around
Oh my God,
when you're like
no.
rolling around, you're sleeping in, like ooh, so comfy.
Oh dear.
Oh, that's fucking terrible. I love it.
However, no. So, Natasha, first watch. Perception check, please.
I'll start my shift by casting guidance, and I got an 18.
Okay. Yeah, so you see that the road is kept clear throughout the evening. And your watch is clear.
Okay. Who was next?
Alright.
All right, so I'll go wake up Torin, and I'll wake him up with like a little shrug, and I'll cast guidance as I do.
Okay. I believe it lasts a minute though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. The first minute, Torin, you'll have guidance. However,
Quick, Torin, run! Go look at the woods.
I'm like
Go.
initially a little bit groggy, and then like all of a sudden I'm just like wide-eyed, like, yes, watch ready.
yeah. Nevertheless, an hour into your watch, I will take a perception check.
Can I cast something else?
Yeah, of course you can.
I will cast Shield of Faith on him, which gives him 10
Your
minutes.
guidance?
Yeah, 'cause, yeah, anyways. I mean, I'd rather 10. Yeah, so I'll cast Shield of Faith, which will give you a +2 bonus to your AC for 10 minutes, in case something happens.
Thank you.
Night!
Good night.
Yeah, an hour or so into your rest, after nothing's happened for the first hour, try and give me a perception check. You're blind today.
5. I'm blind.
Yeah, I mean, what's your perception as? Like, your standard perception, your passive is
it's a
13,
+3.
right? I've got
Yeah.
13 as your passive. Yeah.
13 is passive.
Well, that's depressing. Nope. You see nothing. No change on the road. I wonder what Torin is doing during his 2-hour watch. Is he whittling away at anything, or?
Yeah, I imagine that he'd be in the process of preparing Hennick's cord, likely from.
Do you have any leather? Like any actual leather?
No, that's the thing, is that I'd have to try
so
to.
I think for
refine
now
some
you're probably
hide, basically.
you're probably just skinning back the hide. Getting
like
it ready for the
preparing
tanning process.
Preparing to tan it, exactly.
Yeah.
exactly.
You'll probably have to wait till you get to town to tan it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I figured as much.
And then you wake up, Kiava.
I'll wake up Cavo. Look lively, Cavo.
Lively. Lively. Ah, right. Let's go.
Kiava, you are
Good man.
able to head out for your watch.
Right. As I do so, while I'm around there, I'll pull out one of my books. Let's go with. Let's go for the one of the alchemy books, right?
Mhm.
And while I'm standing watch, I'm gonna lay my hand on the book and cast, hopefully with the assistance of my big floating spell book, assimilate knowledge on the book.
Beautiful.
It will take a minute to do, but
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, for that, you may just straight up take a point in alchemy. As you absorb knowledge, and specifically, conveniently, what takes your notice and what you pay attention to is Fiend's Ivy. Because, of course, you have just received it, so read a little bit about it. Fiend's Ivy is used for a couple of things. The primary use is to sort of sense when people are nearby. This can increase the senses of, because the plant itself senses when things are nearby. They can tighten up and loosen. These can give you alarm as a potion, and they can also they can also what's the other one I'm looking for? Enhance your ability to see when combined with certain other herbs. Yeah, so you can simulate some alchemy knowledge, but give me a perception check while you after doing so.
my perception is a 9.
Yeah, you also blind. You see nothing on the road. Are you sure you cast this private sanctum the right way round? You haven't done it the wrong way round, so you guys can't see out? And yeah, you're able to wake Hennick. Hennick, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning. As you, sorry, 4 o'clock in the morning, yeah, because it's 4 till 6. Your watch as you head on out. What does Hennick do to keep himself occupied?
Well, he's going to blow a few puffs of wolf shapes on his smoke monster pipe, and then spend some time taking care of very hardworking Black Radish the donkey.
Yeah, let's
brushing,
have
whatever
an
else you're
animal
supposed to
handling
do.
check on that one. And I'm going to roll a con check for Black Radish. She's had a bad week. Oh, he's feeling fucking fabulous.
And he's pissed at me. I rolled a 1. Oh, no, it's an ability check. I'm a halfling. I forgot.
Yeah, you can't.
I've never
you
done
can't roll a
halfling shit
one,
before.
unlucky.
All right, let's try animal handling again. 18.
That's more like it. Yeah, he rolled a nat 20 on his con check. So he's feeling fabulous. Like, his fur's been rippling. You know, as you brush him, he's looking like a sleek donkey, hair on fleek. Looking absolutely marvelous. You know, you're even doing his lashes. He's looking great. He's loving the carrots. He's having a great time.
Fabulous.
You
And then getting breakfast ready eventually.
Yeah. You'd then be able to sort of start prepping breakfast, start getting people up. But before you do, I'll take a perception check, please.
That one is a 20.
There we go. There's the perception check we're looking for. And you notice that there are 2 youngsters. They definitely appear human. And they are wandering quite close to your campsite, saying that they're sure the cart was near here somewhere.
Hey there, young folk. What are you looking for?
Wait, that doesn't work. Nothing happens. No sound passes out of private sector.
I forgot we had this shit.
Yeah, you'd have to step out.
Okay.
Would you do so?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. As soon as you step out there... Oh, whoa there! How did you do that?
Well, it's sort of a trade secret. What are you youngins out here doing?
Been looking for you.
Looking for us? Well, that was going to be tough, but now you found us.
Jace, come out. Jace comes around the corner and he's holding a shovel and a bundle of rope. And he looks very shamefaced.
Ah, I see.
It's just... We saw the treasure first, but you were going faster than us. Trying to get to the... It was abandoned by somebody in the road. I just wanted to see what was in the chest. And then you guys were distracted and I got jealous. Mum says I shouldn't steal. I'm sorry. And he hands you back your shovel and rope.
Well, that's the right thing to do, I suppose. It's mighty big of you to come out, even if it was at Mother's suggestion.
Mister, what was
Maybe
in
we
the
can.
box?
Oh, nothing too much. Some ball bearings. Sorts. Not. I don't know. We thought it was a trap, honestly. You didn't set it there deliberate, though, did you?
We didn't put it there. We saw a satyr put it there. We put it there and then left down the road. We were waiting till he was out of sight, and then just before we could get to it, you guys came along.
That's a bit strange. You just sort of put it there, not dropped it, you say.
Well, he placed it most carefully, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what. You might be better off that we are the ones who came upon it if it was put there deliberate by strange folk.
I did think
You
maybe
might not have wanted
that,
to.
you know, because you guys look a bit mighty strong, you know, there. You got the big dragon dude, the lion. Maybe the satyr was scared off.
Yeah, and he might not have been scared of you, though, so you want to be careful. Even wandering back out here to look for us. It's, roads are dangerous these days.
Oh, mister, we haven't come far. We live just there. And he points to the top of the rise that you've camped at the bottom of. And you see that there's like a little rope ladder that they've let down They actually live like literally just above you,
Sure.
in a sort of ramshackle shack. But I thank you for being concerned. But, yeah, Mum told me to bring this stuff back, and in all fairness, we don't need another shovel. Well, I don't quite know what we were going to do with the rope, but...
Yeah, it seems like you got a whole ladder of it right there.
Well, he sort of drops them on the floor and takes a few steps back. And...
Don't. Would you like some breakfast?
He looks to his older brother and his older sister, and they sort of shake their head, like, no.
Do they like look poor or
no?
Not?
Do they look poor? That's an interesting question. They definitely live in the middle of fucking nowhere. They're definitely farm kids, you know. But they're definitely well kept. Their hair's well cropped, you know. They're clean. So they're looked after. And he sort of puts the stuff down in front of you and sort of gives you a nod. And it's okay. We had breakfast this morning, but have a good day, mister.
All right, you too.
And yeah, they sort of scurry off to their rope, and you are able to head back into your magic circle, which will dissipate shortly. It lasts 8 hours, right, Josh? Or is it 24?
What an interesting question.
You can tell me it's an hour now, aren't you?
It's 24 hours.
It is 24. That's what I thought. It was 24 or 8. I wasn't sure. So no, it will last overnight, and all day. And yeah, you're able to sort of very excitable music, isn't it? I guess you guys start doing a jig in the middle of the road before you some breakfast. Let's do that. Yeah. You're able to make yourself up some breakfast. What's for breakfast?
We are having some toast and some like home fried potatoes. I don't know what foreign people call that or anything.
Tasty, that's what we call it.
And some apple slices.
A nice mixture. Give me that check, please. Con plus prof modifier.
That would be 12 altogether then.
Well, okay. It's tasty, but nothing major. You will now need to drop your max HP bonuses. Fortunately, that will not be enough to be tasty. And yeah, you guys sort of get ready, pack all the stuff up, and you hear the thundering of hooves as 40 or 50 horses start sort of racing down the road.
Holy crap.
They are coming from the direction of Harbondon towards Lorvalen. Who would know? Probably Hennick. Hennick, give me a history check, or... No, I think a history check. I know he's not the brightest, but this is something...
It's an 11.
Yeah, that's plenty. You recognize these as part of the Dawn Guard. They are the people who keep the borders safe. But they're riding towards Lorvalen with... They're not just rushing, they're recklessly rushing. Needless haste. I mean, there's not going to be any way of you to stop them or anything, but just sort of it's something you notice upon the road.
So, hang on, are they coming from Harbondon?
From Harbondon to Lorvalen.
Right,
They're
okay.
going the same way you are, just a hell of a lot faster.
Yeah.
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 If I see no way, if I see no way to stop them, then I'll just sort of let everybody else know that.
Yeah, you wouldn't even get to the
we
edge
couldn't get
of
them to carry our message.
You wouldn't even get to the edge of your silent circle before they were sort of dust. They came flying past. But it is something. Yeah, and you guys are able to begin your trip. Just for consistency's sake, let's have a little look where you are. You're probably beginning to approach the foothills of Lorvalen. So about 11:30, 12 o'clock, you will be able to see the city rising up in the horizon. On the horizon, sorry. I don't think we have any picture for Lorvalen today, so we shall leave it as is. But yeah, I mean, Lorvalen is famous for a couple of things. It has twin peak cathedrals that rise up over the river. The whole city is built over the river. So there's lots of bridges. There's lots of sort of river commerce. They're very well known for the barges. Well, if we do a little bit more of this map, perhaps you will be able to see something else. Ooh, you're getting closer to Lorvallen because I'm looking at different bits of the map. So they're known for the barges that go from Eladar, which is where the dwarves sort of make lots of very interesting equipment and such. And a lot of that goes down the whole way to the Urak state, where obviously trade is huge. But Lorvallen is where they pass through. So there's a lot of river trade going on there. Obviously, it's also the capital of Jorston. It's home to the Royal Palace, as well as to the Lord Lagon, who would be he's the uppermost lord within Jorston. And Lorvallen has a really poor outskirts. So if you think of it as a series of rings, on the outskirts you've got literally slums. At the very center you've got the palace and the large cathedral to Saloon, with its twin peaks over the river for which the city is famous. And yeah, I think I'll take a D20 from Torin, from Hennick, and from Chiavo. I don't think there's any way Sebastian or Tasha have ever visited here. The other three.
Oh, with that attitude.
That'll be a 50.
16.
18.
Sick, you will be. 15 is what I was looking for. Thanks for the follow, Nako. Welcome to Duck Pond. Yeah, so as you head up towards this city, you would know that it can be almost upsetting if you approach from the wrong side, which you are doing. A lot of the more noble folk would actually go further north, cross the river, and then approach the city from the other side so as to not walk through the slums, as the northeast side of the city is a little bit more well kept. It's still poorer on the outskirts than in the center, but sort of not so poor. However, as you sort of approach the city gates, despite the slums around, there is still a noble gate. A lot of the slums are outside the gate, but you would be able to get to the gate. Are we headed straight to the city, or are we... So is there any reason to tarry outside?
We need to go straight in, I believe.
Yep. I agree.
I agree.
So, the gate guard looks down and, have you come from Harbondon?
Not quite from Sandringham, just up the way from Harbondon.
Straight in. The gate opens. You can see they were almost expecting you. Perhaps the riders rode past Sandringham from Harbondon. Certainly you would know that would make logical sense in terms of that's probably where they crossed the river.
They've probably reported ahead, yeah.
So, yeah, they may have reported ahead, but you had some more specific requests anyway. And you are able to enter the city proper. One of the guards comes down from the gate and sort of addresses you all. And what ho, travellers? You say you come from Sandringham. Do you come bearing news?
Yes, we come bearing news. We have a letter which has to be delivered to the king.
King? Well, you'll be seeing the Lord first. He's a little busy at the moment, but if you'd like to head up to the estates, the castle proper, somebody will take your letter and will make you comfortable while you wait. You should see the Lord today, and the King today too as well, I should hope.
Very well, thank you.
Sorry to hear of the troubles on the road.
It's trying times.
Unusual times.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Unusual, you say?
Not for me to give news, I'm afraid, but the Lord will fill you in, I'm sure.
Understood.
Hell, you'll hear it in the taverns. But I shall keep my mouth closed on gossip. Rumor.
As you wish, soldier.
Yeah, he sort of hustles you through the slums and the poorer parts of the city, and you're able to make your way to the very center of the city. As you make your way to the very center of the city, you are able to see this sort of... It's quite a functional keep. It's not pretty. There's a beautiful palace made of sort of white stone. You see glass windows, stained windows, spires of the palace, the beautiful twin pillars of the cathedral, and then this sort of squat, ugly castle that's just functional. That is Lord Lagon's castle. And as you are led to the gate, entering the keep, a gentleman in sort of very fine burnished breastplate of silver and bronze sort of, "Hail, I'm through, travellers. Expected." And he leads you to what appears to be a sort of functionary room. There's a large bonfire going in the fireplace. Bonfire? That's not quite the right word, is it? Large open fire going in the fireplace, which is at the centre of the room, and then there are sort of tables at either side. And you immediately smell sort of warm meats. You'd smell mulled wine, and you notice that there's quite a few guardsmen from the Dawn Guard, still wearing bits of their armour, but not all of it. Some of them are still in their greaves. Some of them, have a sort of helmet under their arm. A couple of them are still wearing their breastplates. And they seem to be lounging around at the tables. One of the gentlemen gestures for you to take a seat at one of the tables. And a young girl will come up to you immediately, holding a wooden ladle. And, "Might I get you some lunch?"
Please, that would be excellent. We've had quite the journey.
Yes, that would be lovely.
"I will do so." And she sort of goes off, and then she comes back shortly with 5 glasses of mulled wine, and then after a while some sort of meat hot off the spit with pieces of bread and cheese, and a little bit of the dripping, and sort of places it all on plates for you. And hope you won't be waiting long. And you said this is only sort of half an hour or so, but it's long enough to eat. And this incredibly well-dressed dwarf comes through. He's sort of wearing robes and a doublet underneath, and he's got this sort of scepter in his hand that he sort of clicks on the floor as he walks, as he reaches you here. "Well, might I be taking you through to the Lord?"
Please.
"Very good. My name is Scribeladar, and I will take you through."
Thank you.
And actually, that's not his name. It's Edola. I just can't talk properly. And he leads you through to basically like a large... It's almost like a throne room. But one thing you notice about Lord Lagon is there is a big chair at the top of sort of a raised dais, but he is standing at the bottom of the stairs, talking to the more common folk, if you like, those petitioners. And he sort of, "Thank you very much." And then as one group walks past you, he gestures for you to come forth.
To clarify, this letter was for the Lord and the King, right?
No, it was for the King, not for the Lord
the
at all.
King, right? Okay.
Lord Lagon sort of nods to you, and "I apologise for diverting your journey. I understand you have news for the King. But please, I must hear news of Sandringham. Did you see anyone that attacked Sandringham?"
Orcs.
Orcs. So the
We
rumours are
didn't
true.
see all of them. Only some.
Some of them
Everyone.
won't see anything else ever again.
That's good. Glad you had the opportunity to defend your home. I wish I could say the same for all people. And he gestures to Edelar to bring out something, and he unravels a scroll. At the center of this scroll, Hennick, is the marking that you saw on your table. Did you see these markings? And you would all be able
We
to see
did
this.
indeed. Didn't fully understand, but sense of destruction for sure.
The Three Tusk clan. Those closest to the border. Although we are to believe that they may have united with a couple of other clans on the borders. There is news from Yakan. Let me just bring up the map. Wrong one. Oh, lots of transition screens. Sorry. Whee! Watch it go. There you go. So, Yakan is to the west, to the southwest of Orc lands, if you like. Let me just do this. There you go. So, the Orcs will be based just around here. That's the Three Tusk clan. And Lord Lagon explains to you that not that long ago there was a raid on Håkon, which is one of the largest settlements of Yakan. Yakan is almost full of nomadic and like tree houses and stuff. So Although it's a big settlement, it's not like a walled city. And the Yuan-Ti lizard folk of Hawken have asked permission from Jorston to travel over the border to Harbondon and up through the mountains to take their revenge, as their border with the orcs is so well guarded. He explains this to you and says, we're looking to make sure that the Yuan-Ti haven't caused any trouble on their way through. We were worried that it was perhaps them that had attacked Sandringham, though the timeline wouldn't quite have fit. It seems the orcs are raiding on all levels.
Yeah, that's who we saw, who we had to deal with. We didn't see any Yuan-Ti anywhere, so.
Edola, will you carry that news, please, to the Dawn Guard? Today we had a contingency of soldiers from Harbondon who said that the Yakan folk didn't want to wait for an answer. With a full army advancing on them, they decided it best to let them go in peace. The dwarves, however, are not renowned for their acceptance. You anti-folk. I don't want to see war on the borders. So I apologize for diverting you, but please, I will get you escorted straight into the palace now. Understand you have a letter for the king.
That's correct, yes.
When you have finished your duties with the king, please return here. Let me know how it goes. However, I have already sent 2 guards with a large pledge to Sandringham of both gold and goods to help them rebuild.
Thank you. That's very much appreciated.
My great uncle, he knew Sandringham well. He was born in Morscombe. Sorry to hear that.
Yes, the neighbor
went through there. Sorry, go on, Turd.
I was just going to say, a neighbor.
Always spoke finely of the folk from the villages. Understand you must have had a long journey. Sorry, I won't keep you any longer. Adelar here will take you to the king. Unless you have anything else to ask him, Adelar will escort you immediately.
What's the lord's name, sorry?
Leygon. Leygon. That should be fairly familiar to you, Josh, so...
Yes.
Yes.
Oddly familiar, you might say.
Yeah. Wonder why.
Yeah, it's meant to be. Good. So this man is in his 60s. He holds himself very well. He still wears armor. So yeah, of import, but seems like a gentler man, somebody who's interested in the common folk. Anyway, Edelar will lead you through to the very fine palace. And he will get you as close to the king as he can, which is to the king's advisor. And this king's advisor has long silver hair tied back in a warrior's braid, and eyes that appear to also have an element of silver in them. Who would be able to give me a nature check based on people?
I don't think I'd be able to. I only if it's something I've read in a book.
In that case, I think perhaps Hennick? Yeah.
I have a +3.
I think, Natasha, you might have read of one of these in your anatomy book, so yeah, please.
Guidance. Not 20.
Sick!
And I don't know.
Yeah, that down, sorry, because I'll forget. You are able to work out this person is Kalashtar. The Kalashtar travel with spirits inside of them. They travel throughout the lands, all lands. It's not that unusual to see one, but it's incredibly unusual to see one in a position of importance in a city. They're normally travelers, wanderers. Very rarely do they take any sort of position of importance, but this one clearly has. And he greets you all. Well, understand that you have news that you deem important for the king.
Yes, indeed. You have a letter addressed for the king.
Well, come on then. He sort of holds his hand out for the letter.
I'll pass it forward.
Quite the demanding tone, your mayor, hasn't he? Well, citizens of Jawston, you are indeed. Sorry to hear of your village's loss. We can't meet these demands. We shall send a smaller escort of soldiers, and they will take what goods we can spare. Sandringham isn't the only village that sees its troubles. I see no reason to trouble the king with this directly. And this sort of provokes a very sort of sharp cough in the back of the room from Adela. Sort of looks at Adela, but as Adela doesn't speak, he just sort of ignores it. Like I was saying, did you wish to return to your village immediately? Perhaps we can send you with this escort, unless...
I'm sorry, what was your position then?
I am the advisor to the king. My name is... Riol. R-I-O-L.
Well, Real, as advisor to the king, of course, you're one of the many functionaries that works on his behalf, just as is our mayor. And I'm sure you wouldn't want your messages to get stuck on their way to where they're intended.
Give me a persuasion check.
My guidance him. Pat on the back,
Probably,
as always.
Yeah. I probably not, I don't think, in this particular moment. I think I don't think...
25.
I'm exclamation mark sipping. Hold on. Second.
I'd like to risk helping with the taxi, but I don't want to give him dragon breath.
Yeah, so that's absolutely fine. He sort of looks over at Eladar and he knows that... The fuck was that? He knows that he's being judged by the Lord's man. Bit of... Well, yes, I will just check with the king. And he sort of leaves the room briefly and steps through, and Adelar turns around to you all. Adelar turns around to you all and just says to you all, don't mind him. The man's an idiot. Overinflated with a sense of self-importance. As soon as he mentions your flight to the king will see you himself, I'm sure. And sure enough...
Sounds like he fancies himself a bit above his station, then.
Well, he is a man of importance, but he definitely likes people to know it. And at this moment, he returns to the room and I'll escort you through to the king. He leads
That's
you...
mighty kind of you.
He sort of opens this large door and sitting on the throne is the king and his queen at his side. We do have names for these people, but my goodness, I have enough notes.
I was going to say before we leave the other room,
yeah.
Vern will sort of like pat Adelar on the shoulder and give him a wink.
He nods, but he's not allowed to follow you through to the palace. So he will stay right there. And so you are able to head into the king and queen. You see, the king is an aged man, perhaps 75, nearly 80. The queen's a little younger; she's in her late 60s. And you know them as King Hadrian and Queen Amistilla, not to be confused with Amidala, please. And they are there. And he sort of apologized that you were held up by my diplomat. As I grow older, he tries to trouble me with less, but sometimes he doesn't know what's truly important. Come forward, folk. I'm so sorry to hear of your village. I understand that your mayor has sent this letter. He looks over it. My diplomat is, however, correct that we cannot send as many men as your mayor asks for. I have many borders to man, and there are more troubles than your mayor is aware of. Nevertheless, we will send 40 men. And more importantly, I think, we will send a large contingency of craftsmen and lumber, stone, masons. Adelar will, I'm sure, will provide a small contingency of dwarves to help with that. I think that for your mare, rebuilding would be more important than protecting again. I think this was an attack of opportunity. I could be.
Well, we understand everyone has their limits, and we certainly humbly accept your aid and appreciate that. We do wonder if, now, of course, we want to rebuild the town, but I don't know, certain signs and activity, we do worry that there's more than just this one incident, and, well,
As do I.
just have it in mind. It's not necessarily that I think that we need to take more of your men for protection, but I wouldn't be so keen to assume that this sort of thing won't just happen again.
Indeed, I do agree with you, but there are lots of villages there for opportunity. And if they are coming over the border at one place, they're coming over the border at another. Spreading our men thinly along the mountains is the best we can do right now. Wanted a Mage's Guild would offer more help, but anyway, that isn't an issue for you. First of all, there is a matter. And he sort of leans over towards the Kalishtar and sort of, payment. And he reaches into his pouch and he takes 2 gold pieces. He places them in Hennick's hand. Your mare demanded payment. I hope that you find this satisfactory. My man here will also make sure that you have lodging in our finest inn for the night.
Thank you, Your Highness. That's very much appreciated.
The Jolly Green Goblin is a great inn. I hope you spend a good night there. It is long since I was able to take drink there. Partake in the entertainment. Go on, Sebastian.
Only 2 gold. That makes it even crazier that it's 100 gold for tuition at the Mage's Guild. That's crazy.
100 gold is more than most people will ever see in their lifetime. The Mage's Guild are extremely exclusive when it comes to actual tuition. And just put that in perspective, to go to the Academy of Shah, you need 1,000.
Yeah, but like,
fucking hell.
But the university actually is a school. The Mage's Guild barely give you anything.
Yep. And yet fees are extortionately high, and they regularly have many nobles sending them completely incompetent non-wizards for that gold. Gold discrepancy is a huge thing in this world.
Is a scholarship a thing in this world? Jesus.
Yes, many certain students at the academy are taken in free because of their magical ability, and the Mage's Guild will always let you work for your knowledge. They don't force you to pay membership. They will often teach you in exchange for you helping them out or representing them. But anyway.
So I'm not screwed then. Great, thank
you.
No,
not at all. Not at all. They will teach more than happily. They just won't let you stay there and live on the premises, and you would never get to one of the higher positions having not bought an apprenticeship. Like, sort of all the heads of guilds and stuff are paid places.
So it's Scientology.
Sure. Anyway, bypassing that, yes. So at this point, the king will knock on you all, and you must have travelled a long way. I appreciate your haste. Sorry I can't do more, but I'll do everything I can, I promise. Don't think I don't value the small folk of our... And the queen sort of gives you a nod and gestures for Natasha to come. She takes off a bracelet on her wrist. You place it in your hand. Your people. From me personally.
She's kind of a bit, I wouldn't say starstruck, but she's definitely like, she'll bow and like extend her hand for it.
And as the queen gives it to you, she will bow. Don't have to bow to me.
She'll do what I did, which is like, what?
She says, you don't have to bow to me. No one does. Servant for the people.
Thank you.
And what she's put in your hand is a necklace, a bracelet of pure gold. It's studded with emeralds and sapphires. This will fund the rebuilding of Sandringham single-handedly. Should you get it back to the mayor.
Yeah, I will.
Nevertheless, you will first, of course, need to spend an evening in the Jolly Green Goblin. And you'll be given directions to the Jolly Green Goblin. You're able to make your way over to the inn. Sweet.
The nerve of you to name this place the Jolly Green Goblin and yet have goblins all be evil.
They are all evil, yeah. Such is life. So, as you enter into the inn, although it's only sort of 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's already lively. You notice that there's quite a large group of musicians. There's a man playing a viol who's got quite fine, thin, wavy blonde hair, and he's an elf. You see a satyr playing a flute, with 2 humans playing bagpipe and drum, and a race that perhaps you recognize. I'll take that nature check again, Natasha.
I got a 16.
So you recognize this to be a water genasi, who is sitting down playing a lute. And they're quite well dressed, and everybody around you is quite well dressed. To the point that you all stick out, quite badly. As you head up to the innkeeper, you've been given a token to give him for your lodgings.
Well, hello there. We were just over seeing the king and told to come over here for lodging and given this.
Seeing the king, you say? Important dignitaries. Wow.
Well, that's as may be, but
He looks at
we
the
just need
token, and you
place
see him
to
sort of
stay.
just nod to himself. Hennig, as you are talking to him, you do notice that there is a sign behind him that tells you of today's meals. The prices will catch your eye. The cheapest thing you see on the menu is soup and bread for 8 silver. Yeah, this is exclusive. However, you will be eating and drinking for free, so he sort of gestures to you and, might I get you something to eat and drink?
Out of curiosity,
Yeah.
real quick, what is the time right now, roughly?
3 o'clock. You ate about 2 hours ago.
Right, okay.
So a drink might be necessary, but food is probably not a great idea right now. You will get dinner whenever that's needed. Yes, Sebastian?
I would like your finest red wine.
Oh, excellent. We have a wonderful vintage. Far to the east. Hope that you enjoy it. This is made in Veralia. It's Elven Fey wine.
Thank you. I'll take the bottle, please.
He sort of gulps, but he knows he has to give you whatever you ask for, and he does. He puts the bottle on the table and he pours you a glass.
Is that oak I'm smelling? Fruits and nuts?
Most definitely fruits and nuts. Yes, it is a very fine vintage. While you are under the influence of this alcohol, you will have a -3 to initiative. But you will have a
I don't
plus,
plan on fighting anyways.
but a +10 to charisma. So it don't fuck about, said wine. Yeah, it is really good stuff. You are given keys that are made out of they're not gold or silver, but it's still like quite semi-precious metal, and they've got little gemstones in them for your room keys.
Jesus.
And there's as you turn around, you sort of notice that some people seem to be quite, dignitaries, lords, etc. This is the height of the heights. And a small girl approaches you, very well dressed in her pinny, and would it be doing anything around town this afternoon? Would you like any directions or an escort? She is offering you somebody to give you directions
please.
on the road, not an escort. Just to clarify.
Yeah, directions, please.
Anywhere particularly you'd like to go, sir?
I need to speak to somebody at the Mages Guild here.
Mages Guild? Oh, you can't miss it. And she takes out what is a town map. And she places it on the table for you, and it demonstrates where the Mages Guild is. It demonstrates where the other guilds are, and you will see an adventurers guild there as well, amongst various other things. And I think mid-afternoon, that is where we will stop, as we've sort of rickety-rocketed from place to place and thing to thing. I think that would be a good place to start next week, so I'll give you guys some downtime to spend the afternoon in the city, sort of perhaps not role-played, and then we'll go from there. We shall come to MVPs. Bastian, Josh.
I think Sebastian could get used to the highlight. My MVP. My MVP would be the how I feel unnecessary need to have a watch when no one can see us anyway.
Yep, I give you that.
So if anyone's interested, if we camp in the same place for a year and I cast that spell every day of the year, it will be there forever.
Oh, that's brilliant. If we camp in the same place for a year. Sorry.
That's some wilderness survival right there then.
There we go. Jamal, your MVP.
I'm gonna have to say, I really put you on the spot with the cart, didn't I? Jesus.
Yeah, but it was just bizarre. Like, forget the card. You put me on the spot with how big is a fucking ball bearing. I was like, I don't know. I don't measure them on a daily basis.
The reason why is I wanted to see if they were usable as ammunition for a slingshot. That would be.
But I did enjoy speak. I did enjoy speak with objects. I'm glad you've kind of used for it. Was that your MVP or just a side note?
I'm gonna have to go to the MVP. You really managed to make the speak with objects work.
Yep. Bruno.
I did particularly enjoy the card. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the session. And I like that we got our shovel back!
Yes!
That Hennig managed to return it.
Yeah. Rico.
So my MVP goes to Joe for two reasons. First, for given the stern talking to the three youngins.
Mm-hmm.
Dad
talk.
That was pretty hilarious. Like the dad talk, just like you really should, yeah. But mostly for rhyming Sandring him with understanding him.
Yes, which and the just the keeping up of the voice in it. For those of you who missed it, our resident bard here. Do you mind if I put the video out? Is that all right?
Do what you like.
Okay. Provided us with the tale of full flames in Sandringham, the sad burning of the village that they lived in. He has also recapped previous sessions with fantastic bardic tales. If you wish to see any of our previous episodes, by the way, you can visit our YouTube, where you will find Joe. Do I not have a YouTube? Oh, there we go. Where you will find Joe's brilliant work at the beginning of our session. So please go and check that out. And speaking of him himself, Joe, your MVP, please.
Yeah, I'm sort of tagging on to Bruno's the grand narrative arc of the rope and the shovel. With first it being that Natasha was so over the top concerned about it was perfect. Of the sort of like, okay, fine, I'm going to be a seeker of justice then, and we have to fight every conceivable injustice that comes along. I love that. And then like it was this she way oversells how terrible it is, and then we get it back anyway.
That was brilliant. I loved it. Obviously the ball bearing thing will come into play at some point.
Sure. Well, and that was also like
the chest is a
part
thing.
of that whole arc for me was trying to decide whether Hennig thinks that he should give the stuff to these kids. Like
that was
or
part
not
of it. Yeah,
tell
part of
them
the
about
thought.
It was kind of
I'm
like
very glad you
maybe
didn't.
he probably wasn't paying that much attention to the fact that there were gems in there in the first place. So these kids need a lesson rather than.
Yep. I really
fairness.
enjoyed that arc. Such a silly arc. It's literally come from a random encounter card. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I had a few. But before I get to mine, first of all, you each receive an attribute point. You may place this wherever you please. Congratulations on starting to mix and mingle with the aristocracy and make your voices heard. On which note, making voices heard, I don't know if you need it, Hennick, but you're getting it anyway. A +1 to your performance as part of your charismatic persuasion, not performance.
Oh.
As part of your charismatic persuasion of the diplomat to hand you over to the king. It meant I had to look up the king's name and think of his personality. It was great. So that was really good. Enjoyed that. On the note of Jodai as well, +1 to sleight of hand for your nat 20 throw of the magic stone. Torin, the fuck does that say? Oh, that says survival. It says SURV. I thought it said sun. I was thinking +1 to sun. Okay, +1 to survival for your excellent skinning of the animals,
yeah.
and +1 to your harvesting ability, gathering harvesting.
Nice.
Congratulations. I think I've already given you the +1 to alchemy.
Yeah.
Okay, and +1 to nature for Natasha. For your ability to discern races. She will also gain a +1 in perception. For again, just sort of understanding nature and such. And Sebastian, +1 to Arcana. For your naturally instinctive ward, and also for your sort of able use of magic throughout the episode today. And an ironic +1 to performance for giving a dragon's breath to a dragon. Congratulations.
Hey, my performance is +0 now.
And to Chiavo, +1 to wisdom for all you have learned today.
Fuck yes.
Okay, so coming to the MVPs, whoever said I want my turn back? I want my town back. Sorry. When we were talking about like the, I think this was Jodai when Nasha was talking about like I want my shovel back, and I think Jodai's response was I want my town back, which really made me chuckle. Natasha's we seem to have been bamboozled. Love that. That was brilliant. Torin saying to Jodai, I didn't take you for a dandy. That was great. Absolutely love that. Natasha's whole shovel story was just wonderful. Really enjoyed that. And then I've written something. Sebastian Medallum Man?
Oh, Michelin Man.
The Michelin Man! Yes, there we go. I couldn't work out what I've written it so fast. Yeah, Rico's description of Sebastian as the Michelin Man in mage armor was beautiful, so I really enjoyed that. So yeah, overall, just a really pleasant session. Let me see if I can.
Which started off quite seriously, actually.
It did. It started off very sad, and we went
We had a talking cart.
lots of pleasurable moments. Thank you very much to the raid from Deathy TV and to Derek Page. You may, of course, not still be here, but if you are too, Deathy TV, to General Kilroy, to Sibby, Killer Sim, Tony G2018, 2018, I'm an idiot, sorry. Happy Bloom, Barotheus, and Nakwa. Thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the Duck Pond. Please stay the fuck away from my pond life. And we hope to see you again soon.
Also, I hope to give Torin each different elemental type of dragon breath.
That will be a part-time campaign mission. We're going to be raiding Mendari. Mendari is the homebrew queen. She's one of my favorite people to watch in a relaxed afternoon. She can answer your D&D questions and is currently homebrewing an entire world from scratch. So she's super interesting. So please give us some love and let her know how exciting we all are as the Duck Bond. And yeah, if you guys would like to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
We shall
See you next
you all soon.
village.
See you next time.